What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. I hope all of you lovely, amazing, beautiful people are doing okay today. I hope that life is not kicking you in the buttocks too hard. Actually, I do. I hope life is kicking your goddamn ass. But I hope you're overcoming each and every bit of it with ease. So, I guess you wouldn't be getting your ass kicked if it was with ease, right? The fuck? So yeah, I got this thing I do. I forgot to do it this morning. So again, I'm your host, Ed Honcho, man. This is the den where opinions are uncensored. The best conversation on the entire fucking internet, right? And the reason why is because of you wonderful people who come and join the den, who come and join this conversation. I don't know why the fucking little count thing has been all fucking stupid. You know, whatever. Just get it all. Just get your ass out of here. But I'm glad you could join me today, man. It's always good. It's always a good time when we get in the den. And I know some people have noticed that there has been a bit of a theme to some of the topics this week. We'll get there. We'll discuss that, and there's a reason for that. You know, I'm always up to some shenanigans. But we're gonna be talking about, do black women have limited dating options? That's something that has been brought up multiple times when we've had dating discussions, racial discussions, and seems like just any discussion we have, somehow it comes back to black women not having dating options. But anyway, listen, we got joining us today. I'm glad that you're here. Again, it's my honor. It is my privilege, but more than anything, it's my pleasure, man. I really do enjoy getting to chop it up with y'all, man. I don't like get to see you. Hey, we gotta redo that meet and greet thing. 'Cause I really blew that that whole debacle. So we'll try to do that digital den show meet and greet again sometime soon. I mean, we can. Why not? I mean, it could be a thing that we do on weekends. I mean, it's not like you got to go anywhere. So if you're a part of that, we may try that again Saturday night or something. We'll see. We'll take a vote. I'll post in the meet and greet thing in the Discord. But let's see. We got joining us, John from New York, my favorite New Yorker. How are you doing this afternoon, sir? Kay Grace, the lovely Miss Grace. How are you doing this afternoon, ma'am? Culture, the Don of the Discord. What's the motherfucking deal? DeWanda Willis, how are you doing this afternoon, man? Beyond a funny, I'm just saying your name. I'm not. Beyond a funny N word. I'm working on my use of the word nigger. I know I'm not. I'm lying, but it sounds good. It sounds like a good thing to say, but I'm working on my use of the word nigger. I'm really trying to stop using it. Like if you tell somebody that, they'll think you're cool, right? They're like, oh, you're trying to do a commendable thing. But you really can keep saying it, and it doesn't. I'm working on it, right? So I haven't fixed it. So anyway, I'm not working on that at all. So I don't even know why I went on that tirade. But anyway, the lovely Miss D the Gamma, how are you doing this afternoon, ma'am? Professor Trio, what's the motherfucking deal? How are you doing this afternoon, sir? Bad and Bougie, how are you doing this afternoon, ma'am? One, 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 one. How are you doing this afternoon? And Kenneth Cologne, don't you got like some digital classes or something? Look, I guess there's something on both sides. I can't hide the logo. Don't you have like some digital classes to do? God damn it. Go do something with yourself. Immediately. So, a few things we want to get into. You had a whole week out. What the fuck? What you talking about? So we're talking about dating options, right? And when it comes to black women, there were some statements that have been made. And it was really funny because I had like a weird ally in here yesterday, like an enemy ally, a frenemy, that Indian person who came in here said all kind of weird shit. And, but even this being an Indian woman said some things, said that black women are not desirable to other races. We've heard stories of people say this. Other races, a story was shared about, you guy looking at black men, asked, how do you deal with this? I've heard multiple variations of stories like that from different men. I've heard black women say, because we get a bad rap, the narrative paints us this way, but we're not really like that. Some of them say, shit, I am like that. And, I'm tough and aggressive, and some men can't handle a strong woman. And so there's lots of different factors I think that play into it. And we're going to discuss some of them, and I'm not going to talk for a very long time because we probably only got about like an hour and a half today. So I want to make sure, to maximize time for you guys to get your calls in. But the thing about it is, which of these can be fixed? Which of these are a real problem? And how much of this is, maybe mental? How much of this is maybe like maybe a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like because you think that's what it is, it happens because you behave that way, right? Do you say the question should be, do black men have limited dating options? Black men? That's a good question. Beyond the funny nigga, I'm going to steal that. And we're going to have a topic on that one day, and I'm not going to give you any credit whatsoever, like not in the slightest. I don't even know. I'm actually going to ban you that day, so you can't even say, hey, I deserve some credit. Yeah, Joe Biden was absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. People get mad when you hear stuff that doesn't make you feel good. But if it's factual, then you got to figure out where do you fall along that line, right? Now, if it doesn't apply to you, then stop thinking about it immediately. Like, stop wasting the time even thinking about it, right? I guess I felt it right. Start writing something about Beyonce or some shit. I don't even know what the fuck I was spelling right there. But, like I say, I'm losing all my trains of thought. Let me write this first and then get back to my secondary thought. I'm still in this from beyond. Okay, yeah. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. But like I say, it's crazy because I say, I love black women. That is what attracts me. That's what appeals to me. But, and black women love when you say shit like that. But what you're not realizing when I say this is like only a very small amount of black women that I really like. You know what I'm saying? And so it's genuine, but maybe it's kind of fucked up. I don't know. I don't really give a fuck because, like I said, I got an old lady, so I don't really care what nobody thinks about it. But like, there's just a certain type of black woman that I'm attracted to, and honestly, it's a small percentage of black American women, that carry these traits. Honestly, I would say probably more like it would be things that more island women or maybe I don't know like I can't go a whole lot of African women, but maybe these are traits that are probably more natural to them. So like I say, it's a small percentage for me. So when I say that, like I say, it's a very minute group. But getting back to the Joe Biden thing real quick, the diversity, it's true. So if you hear something and it makes you uncomfortable, right? But it's a fact because you can't disprove it. You say, well, that is true in this case, it is true in that case. Then the first thing you do is you say, okay, well, does this apply to me? Am I like this stigma, this stereotype, this thing? And if it's no, then, like I say, immediately stop giving a fuck, move on. If it's yes, then you need to recalibrate. You need to figure yourself out. And that's kind of where I want to start. We talk about, these things that we're going to get into. We talk about the stigma of the angry black woman. We talked about this the other day. We talked about being unprotected and then, using maybe anger or pseudo toughness as a defense mechanism or, from your experiences or for whatever reason that you're using that, right? Well, this is something, like I say, black men are used to dealing with it because they, like I say, you get it from your mom or you probably had it in generations of your family or you've seen it, you've had these discussions with other black men and like I say, you share stories and it sounds real similar. And then, like I say, black women will tell you, some of the same stuff. But what happens is with the tough, rough, mentality and exterior, like, do I think that's all black women? No, but I think it's a majority. But I think those who are not like that get caught up in that. And so I think those are the ones who kind of get more mad about that stereotype when they shouldn't. Because like I said, it doesn't apply to you. If you're not loud, boisterous, or you're not, overly aggressive, you carry yourself differently, like you shouldn't care about that. The angry black man, sure, I'm not angry. Probably happier than most people, you know what I'm saying? Because I wake up, just decide to be happy. Most people like trying to figure out, oh, I'm just going to, So I'm definitely not angry, you know what I'm saying? I can be made angry, I guess, but that's a temporary thing. I'm not walking around here mad at everybody. So, like, that stereotype, I don't give a fuck about it because it doesn't apply to me. Motherfuckers sit here talking about, like, oh, thugs and that goddamn nigger, like at no point, even with a criminal history, even with the niggatry that I do occasionally participate in, do I get offended by that because I don't associate myself with that. Like I don't attach myself to, like I say, I know what behaviors I do and don't engage in, right? So I think that's the first thing we got to get into is like, if these stereotypes don't fit you, get away from them and then disregard everything else that's being said. Uh, but again, the angry thing is something that men don't want to deal with. So other races often talk like, how do y'all deal with that with black women? How do y'all um, overcome that? Like, how I wouldn't tolerate it, and they don't. And so I think that's one big window that is shut off for most black women. Now I'm not gonna say all. Of course, you see interracial dating. I just saw. Where was I at? I was at Hoes Everywhere Boy, HEB. You know what I'm saying? I was at Hoes Everywhere Boy, and then I saw not a bad looking young black lady with a white man. But again, there's also, when you see that, notice which type of women are getting chosen interracially, right? Either they are like super nerds, like some weird geeky shit. You'll see the nigga they would be on some geeky shit, or a lot of times they're not bad. Like when our Caucasian brethren cross over, they don't select at the lower end of the spectrum. They usually get to get nice looking black women for a reason. They usually tend to be natural haired. You know what I'm saying? They usually be what you would think you should identify as, right? So, and engaging with a couple, like you kind of see a difference in the personality. So that's a different thing. Like they wouldn't fit that angry black stereotype, right? And I don't think they give a fuck about that because they don't. Most of the ones I've even had conversations with don't tend to assign themselves with a lot of those issues. That makes me think of another thing. I want to say something, but I know it's going to steer the whole conversation. I need to jot this down because it's something that needs to be talked about. But so they don't even associate themselves with that type of shit. So they're not worried about these things. But again, why, right? So then we talk about there's certain factors, things that are definitely associated and attributed to the black community. When we talk about health factors, weight factors, and things like that, let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? The better shape you in, the more options you're going to have, period. There are going to be guys who like plus size women who may not matter. We had a good discussion about that on AB's podcast, Quiet Things Out Loud. And me, Trill, and AB had a great conversation about BBWs and what entails a BBW and what does that mean. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, you definitely should. But, and it's not that, right? It's not even about necessarily, plus size women. But again, it goes down to the fact of how you carry yourself. It's about how you present yourself and your attitude. And again, like I say, a lot of the stuff you see from a lot of women in public is unacceptable to men. And so you wonder why these women are in these situations. Like, something that bothers me. The Real Housewives, right? I've never watched it. I see like little clips of them being real ghetto and trashy, but like how many of them are actually married? Like I know there's one that's primarily black, but like how on that one, I think Atlanta, like how many of them are actually married? Prepaid, what's the motherfucking deal? Kenneth, I already talked to you. You don't get no second shout out. Taryn, what's the motherfucking deal? My nigga. That's the new nigga. That's the cool new nigga, man. And like I said, if I may have missed you, I ain't dish you. So, said the issue, that attitude, And so my thing is like this. Are we talking about currently married or, look, recent divorces don't count. Because, you had a whole basketball wife, so I think only one of them was married or some shit. So, anywho, but you see that stuff and you see that even, the representation that gets put out there is, they're loud and ghetto, even if the housewives are mainly married, right? And then that's what you see in the other races, like shit. Damn, even the married ones are acting ghetto, And I don't I don't think most women who are married behave in that manner. I mean, there's a few. Um, they secured the bag or whatever they had to do. I don't think most married women behave in that manner, but the ones that get put out there, the ones that get represented out there, are those that do that. And so again, that's another bad stigma. So when you support stuff like that, that is a bad representation because niggas love representation. That's a bad representation of you, and that's a message being sent out to the world that even though it may not be you that does that, that says, hey, this is the behavior that we accept. Um, so again, AB, what's the motherfucking deal? No, I hadn't seen. No, so you found your cousin's weed stash. What should you do? Flush it down the toilet because we don't condone drugs. You know what I'm saying? And tell your cousin that you did it. That you figure out what happens after that. I hope you're ready for a fight. Last time I saw her prepaid, I believe she was posted by the fruit stand, man. You know what I'm talking about? But no, so my thing is, again, I think it's the representation. I said I want to talk, so let me kind of like take all this shit and make it short and then get ready to open up the line. But like I say, it's the representation. It's things that are put out. We refer back too often to the Megan Thee Stallions, the Cardis of the world, even though Cardi's not black. Black women exalt her as one of their own because she talk ghetto. The same way if the white person can dance, they get a fucking pass to the cookout. The standards are so low. The barrier of entry to be exalted by the black community is so fucking low. It's embarrassing. It really is. You can dance? Well, you must be one of us. It's like, honestly, and I'm probably giving away too much free game now. I'm not going off on a tangent. If the government wants to infiltrate the black community, don't give these fucking FBI agents guns and fucking vests and all this militarized shit. Man, teach these niggas how to dance. Teach these motherfuckers how to dance. Like, it ain't even got to be like real good. Just like teach them the last maybe 10 little viral dances. You know what I'm saying? And then just send them into the hood. Just like send them to the club, nigga. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be in like Flynn. Because again, like I say, the barrier of entry is extremely low. Like everything is cool to niggas. But anyway, that's my little semi-Cardi rant. But like I say, everything that gets put out there, and we say, well, other races do it too, and they do it too. But it's not exalted to the forefront like it is with black people. Again, with such a small percentage of the population, the majority of your representation is one way. You look at other races, it's not even close to the similar proportions. You may see a small amount of ratchetness being pushed in their community. You may see, again, that one Asian or Mexican or Hispanic, whatever they do. And then again, what are they associated with? Black, because niggas are so, look, they act black because black people do it too. So we associate that shit with the lowest of class shit. And again, so it's these behaviors. In our community, it's the majority of the representation is this trash, this ghetto shit. Do I believe the majority of black people are trash? Absolutely fucking not. But the majority of our representation is this, and we support that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the fucking problem. And a lot of it is being supported by women because black women. You know what I'm saying? Just because. Like, I don't want to, tear down, but you got to fucking start tearing down the trash. Otherwise, they're going to tear you down as a whole, and you just going to get torn down with them. You know what I'm saying? Because you represented that shit. But let's get to it, right? The topic of the day. Do you, in your opinion, believe that black women have limited dating options in society, in America today? Because I hear that, like I said, I've heard other people say, we had a caller say it this week, and they explain their reasons why, and I believe I agree with some of them. But anybody else, if you have thoughts, if so, why? If not, why not? If that's not the case, are black women poorly represented in the dating arena? If so, why? There have been studies to show that I believe it. What is it? Asian men and black women are the lowest clicked on these dating sites. Well, with women, if they're on a dating site, we know why, right? We know what the stigma is with Asian men, right? So, hey, they make terrible folk, right? That's the rumor. But anyway, and then, aside from all the everybody want to be like us, big asses, big titties, and all that other shit that should be appealing and attractive, it's again that to men That's what black women are supposed to be known for, but yet they're the lowest clicked on. Why? If it ain't the bodies that we're after, why? It's because it's the fucking mentality that's associated with black women. And that's what most black women don't get. Most black women, if I look like this and I wear this and I reveal this and, you gotta feel, well, you must be gay. You're like, no, I don't want to deal with your bullshit. And that's the first revert is like, attacking your sexuality because you're not attracted to the trash that they do, right? You know what I'm saying? Or things that you don't find attractive. Like, I don't think that's classy or I don't think that's, appealing. Because, again, and again, nowadays it's sexy used to be, like, you used to be able to be classy and sexy. Nowadays, like, the women cannot distinguish the difference. Like, they cannot separate the difference between sexy and classy. And they think that classy is the more you reveal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be both back then. Now, it's like, it's all overly sexy. There's no class in it. What else do I have to say? I think that's about it. Give me just a moment. Let us, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. And I would love to hear from some black women on this topic. Yeah, let's do that. Someone said I should hold the line and allow black women to be in first on black women. So I'll observe that thought, right? So if you're on the line right now, wait about 5 minutes or so, or however long. We're going to try to let a black woman or a black female or two get a call in. And then if none of them decide to call in, it's fair game, right? You can't say I didn't try. So allow me to boot this bitch up. Other than that, how you guys doing? Is everybody good today? Everybody all right? Let's see. Give me a second. I have a line open in just a moment. And we're going to get this party started, right? We're going to get this party started quickly. All right, numbers on the line, 855-948-0369. The line is open. Black ladies, I'm giving you the floor. If you would like to dispute fairly to be first in this conversation, since it's been said that the men always overtake the den when the conversation is about the women never get to speak about it. Hi. So, I will allow the floor for any lady that would like to initiate the conversation. Oh, well, Heidi might call in. We'll see. Hey, Barbara, how you doing this afternoon? Yeah, like I said, I'm just waiting. I want to allow fairness. Like I say, so I cannot be accused of being, well, I can be accused of being a little bit biased. I do play favorites a little bit, you know what I mean? So I'm going to wait. I know we have a caller on the line, but I'm going to wait a moment until a black woman has initiated this call, or we reach the 5-minute mark of allowing or waiting. So. Say Miss Bell calling you the closest black woman we have in the den. Terrible. Miss Bell done just slid in there. She don't even know what's going on. So I don't think any black women want to call. Yeah. I mean, does anyone want to call? Any black ladies want to spill their sauce? If not, we're going to take a call because we have gentlemen who want to call in and share their thoughts. Set up many pipes of Norlights cannabis on a bean bagger next to mine's office in the basement where my cousin is. I should tell him something like mine is this close to. Well, hide it for him. Don't be a square. Like, if you fuck with your cousin, you don't want him to get in trouble. Like, hide the shit and just tell him, dog. Hey, like, be cool, my nigga. Like, come on, damn it. Like, is your aunt a square? Like, you go fucking. You're calling? Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Call back and I will make sure your call is It's not nothing's ringing right now, so whatever. I will definitely. I got you. But yeah, Danny, like if you're fucking, don't fucking be an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, like don't get your cousin in trouble. Just tell him, well, you don't smoke. But tell him he owes you some money or something. Or charge him for it. Like hide that shit and charge him to fucking tell him where it's at. Like, yo, you like $10, he'll pay you for it. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this afternoon?
Bad and blue.
Let me make sure I have the sound on. I don't want to have you muted. Okay, there you go. Miss Bad and Bougie, how do you feel about the conversation so far?
Um, I feel that there are a lot of great eligible black men out there. I don't feel that there's a shortage of good black men out there to date. I feel like that's another stereotype.
But who perpetuated that stereotype though?
I have no idea, but
Oh, you
I was
absolutely
surprised to hear
Brad
it when
Bougie.
you
We're
said
not gonna do that today. You absolutely no. Only one group could have perpetuated that stereotype. There's only one group complaining about it.
who complained about it. Honestly, I don't know.
Black women are the ones that complain that there are no good black men out there. That they're all either in jail, gay, or what's the third thing? It was something else. It's like three things. Only black women say that.
Okay. Well, I think with both groups, with both men and women, it depends on where you're looking and who you're looking for and what attracts you. I think that's the same way when, you know, people talk about black women and they're loud and they're this and they're that and they're ghetto. Well, you must be looking in the wrong place. Where are you going to look for these women? If you're going to the loud ghetto clubs, booty twerking clubs, then that's what you're going to find. So I feel like, my husband has friends that are, gainfully employed, good men all the time. So I think there are plenty of eligible, single black men out there. And I just think that we, we think we look too much to social media and what's going on. And if we see something, instead of just putting our phones down, putting our computers down and just getting out and just meeting real people in your surroundings that are doing the things that you like to do. So, for example, ladies, if you go to a club in the hood, to whatever, then you're going to find ghetto niggas that probably don't have a job. If you go to the golf course to maybe learn how to play golf, expand your horizon, you're probably going to find businessmen out on the golf course that are not like that. So I think it's all about who who you're socializing with and who you're talking to as to what you're going to find. If you hang out with uneducated people, that's who you're going to meet. If that's your goal, or is that what you want? If you hang out with, unemployed dudes, then that's what you're going to meet. If you know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's a lot of great black men out there of all ages. I
So
mean, I
I
was
have a question for you
single.
though, Miss Bad and Bougie.
Okay.
So for you to meet a man, did you have to develop new skills?
Well, as I've told many people in the den that come around a lot know, my first husband I met in school. We were in high school sweethearts. We met actually in preschool, but we got together in high school. So no, I didn't have to do anything. But he was a football star and I was a cheerleader. So you know what I'm saying? So that's more than likely who you're gonna, you have the same goals, you have the same likes, sports, things like that. So you're gonna meet somebody. With my second husband, no, I didn't do anything. I just happened to be at a restaurant we met at. But was I at McDonald's? No. I was at lunchtime from work and I was at an upscale lunch place by my job. So again, you're going to meet people where you are. So if you're looking around and you're only meeting people that are unattractive or ghetto or whatever, then that's on you. You're hanging out at the wrong places. But there are good men out there.
So do you think most women would be willing to work on themselves to find a better mate?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I definitely think so. I mean, you know, yes, I definitely
And
think so.
I'm
I
not just
think
talking about physically now. I mean,
no, I wasn't even thinking of physically, but yes, physically as well. I was kind of thinking of my example because in my first marriage, I didn't have to handle anything financial. You know, everything was kind of taken care of, blah, blah, blah. You know, I didn't have to worry about anything. But in my second marriage, he was very serious about us, me learning more about, saving money and investing money and doing things like that. So, yeah, I had to step my game up to learn what he was trying to teach me so that we could be more compatible. So yeah, I think as women we have to say that we're willing to learn things. Me personally, I'm attracted to smart men. So if a man can't teach me anything, I really am not interested. They got to be doing as well as me or better. I want to learn something. I want him to be able to teach me something. So yeah, I feel like as a woman, if you want that good quality man, yeah, you're gonna have to step your game up. Yeah, definitely.
no, I think they definitely have to, but I don't think most are willing to. So that's where I
Why
think.
not? Why not? It's great to learn something
No,
new.
I
You
think
can't.
I absolutely agree, but I don't think most women are willing to do so. Not most black women. Most black women are take me as I am. Accept me as who I am. If I'm not good enough, then you don't deserve me. You know.
Where are you guys meeting
This is
these
like
women?
you again, like I
This
say,
is
bad bougie.
crazy.
You are the disconnected one. I hate
I
to
don't
take it
know
from
any woman who
you
would
are,
think.
but do you don't hang in? You're not no, you're not one of us, bad bougie. Like you're cool. Like let me not say this improperly, right? You're like a one percenter or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all over there
No,
in Beverly
no.
Hills doing all that fancy shit. We ain't rocking like that. We're normal, everyday, hardworking Americans. A lot of us blue collar types. So some of the things we have disconnects on. Women who frequent the areas where we're frequent. A lot of men aren't. Not saying that we don't like to go to nice places and stuff. Niggas might just like regular down home type shit. Some niggas not into that overly fancy shit. So the options that are there may not be the same. But it's not
So
saying
whose
that.
fault is that? Is that yours for not wanting to expand
No,
your
it's
horizons,
no, it's
or
the
is
woman.
it?
It's the woman's fault for being if she absolutely. Because what I'm saying is most women like that are in that arena don't they want the same things that you or anybody else wants, but they're not willing to put the work in. So
Okay, so then you have to meet women in a different
but
place.
what
You have to
but
get out
what
of
I
your comfort
but what
zone.
I'm saying is this: I don't think men have necessarily. It's not an issue because men don't really have to do too much of shit. Just provide everything else slides. But what I'm saying is, these are the women that are complaining. This is what I'm talking about. This is not necessarily the men that are complaining. These are the angles that I've been taking with all the black women topics that we've been having have been from black women. So this is why
Right.
all of these things have been said. So I know we revert back to men this and that, but these are all things that I've had conversations with black women about. So that's why we're talking about these things. So these are the women who are complaining. But why don't you think they are willing to improve? Why do you think that the mentality is prevalent that they should just be accepted as they are?
I don't think that's a prevalent attitude. I think that may be a prevalent attitude wherever you are going. But I know a lot of women, if they could find a good man that can be their partner, they're willing to do whatever they need to do to, you know what I'm saying, improve upon themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's true. I think that's a very small percentage. Of course,
I
if you
think
go
you're in
out
the
in the
very small
hood,
percentage.
no, but you
I,
you keep
I believe
giving
you're in the very small
examples.
percentage.
No, I don't think so. I think you
How
keep giving
many?
examples. You keep giving examples, and the other men that come in there keep giving examples of girls in the hood twerking with blonde wigs. Like, come on, that's not the majority of women.
That is the overwhelming
We
majority.
have to stop
You
that.
said yourself, okay, that the majority of black women wear weave, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I
so there's
did.
that. Would you agree that the majority of black women have or are currently still twerking?
No, hell
I'm not saying in
no.
public.
Where
I'm not
are
saying
you
in
getting that?
public. I'm not saying in public. At some point in time, bad bougie, in the privacy of your own home, you have tried to twerk in a mirror, full length body mirror, and tried to see what it looked like. You tried to look back at it. True or false?
No, but actually, a couple of weeks ago, like I said, at halftime, my husband said, "I want you to give me a lap dance." So I did. So yeah, in the privacy of my own home, if that's what my husband wants, yeah, I'm here to make him happy, and he's here to make me happy. So if that's what he wants, yeah, what's wrong with that?
That's irrelevant whether he wants it or not. So you're telling me that's the first time that you have
That is
ever
the first time.
performed a
I've
sensual
never.
dance.
Yes, I'm not a stripper. No, yes, no.
You hang with a
I
bunch
don't
of them,
know.
goddamn it. I don't know what you
I've
be up to.
never. I swear on my four kids, I've never twerked in public, and I've never twerked in front of a mirror. No, I have not. But
Gotcha.
when my
Again,
husband said he wanted me to try to do a lap dance on him, I did very well. So, I don't know, but I don't think anything's wrong with that. I don't.
but uh, again, so these are things that you do not do, right? Do you think that you're above that kind of behavior?
Yes, I'm a smart girl, so I can use my brain. I don't have to I don't have to twerk to attract a man. Yeah, no, I'm above that. Yeah.
So would you say that most women are smart girls?
Yes, but I don't think all women apply themselves. Some women, like everybody has different goals. Some women don't want to be a businesswoman, or some women want to be a housewife, or some women, people have different goals. So women are, I would say, smart. I mean, I see a lot of black single women. I don't know how they did it. I can't imagine raising four kids on my own. So they have to be smart to be able to budget, to be able to make it happen. They have to be. So,
Do they have to be, or could they be receiving levels of assistance?
oh my God, here we go. I thought I called to talk about, are there good black men out there?
Yeah,
Now
but
we
I mean,
talk about welfare
no,
moms.
I'm just saying. I mean that it could be that they're smart, or it could be that there's a little bit of help there. I mean, there's so many different ways of looking at things. That's all I'm saying. Like, but you saying that you have never twerked in public or in the privacy of your home has put you in a small minority, like a very small
Well, maybe.
minority.
Well, you know what? That might be true. Maybe because of my age. Now, if you ask my daughter, she's 26. Maybe she has. I don't know. I hope not. If she does, I would be very disappointed. But
So, I'm
um,
not bad and bougie. You know, let's get into something. And then sometimes we go off target. You would be very disappointed if your child ever twerked, right? You
in
just
the
said that.
public twerking, yes, I'd be
But you
disappointed.
have no issue with some of these other women who carry themselves in that manner, and that's how they brand themselves. You have no issue with them, but you would be extremely
No,
disappointed
I
if your
didn't
child
say
did.
that. Listen. You it's live and let live. Okay, if it's a girl out here, if that's what she wants to do, no, I don't think that's the best thing for her to be doing. If I was her mother, I would say I don't think the best thing that for you to do. But some of these girls' mothers are strippers themselves, so they haven't been taught that. So I'm not going to look down on the woman because she twerks, but no, I would not want that to be my daughter. And I hopefully I have raised her. I'm gonna ask her after the phone call and be like, "Have you ever twerked at a party or something?" And see what she says. But no, that's something I would never want to see my own child do. But if other women do it, that's them.
Shout out to the wise man. I just caught that. You said 26, right? Do
She's
you
26. Yeah.
do you like kind of know what kind of music your daughter likes to listen to?
Yeah.
What is she a fan of?
She likes whatever they playing right now. The modern day music or whatever.
What is it? What is that?
Rap. She likes rap. I think mostly she would listen to rap. I never really heard her listen to R&B unless I'm in the car and I make her turn to it. But she pretty primarily is rap.
So you said you're going to ask your daughter after this call if she's ever twerked, right?
In public, yes.
Okay. Was she ever like a club goer or a party goer when she was, younger or now?
Yeah, she's a club goer now. Yeah, she goes to clubs.
I'm going to
Don't
prognosticate.
don't please don't disrespect my daughter.
I'm going
Please
to
don't.
I'm going to prognosticate a percentage here, okay? And I would like for you to confirm, whether or not. It doesn't have to be publicly. It could just be with me or whatever.
Okay.
I want to say your daughter has twerked not only once, but has twerked often in the public arena. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask her.
Yes. Yes. So
As soon as I get off this call, I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna type it in the DM.
Yes. Yes. Would like to be privy to that information. I'm definitely leaning in that direction. But anyway.
And so let me ask you a question. So if she has twerked, what does that mean?
You tell me. You're the one who has an opinion.
No, because
on
you're the
twerking.
one that has the preconceived idea that if you twerk, you're a ghetto woman or whatever.
Like I
You're
said,
loose or I don't know.
if you're out there twerking, yes, you are definitely an easier target. Just depends on what predators are in the area. So I mean, if that's what you do, like I said, I guess that's what people do. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I wouldn't condone it, but again, it's not my daughter, so I would like to know how you would feel because you said you would be very disappointed. So if that was
Oh
confirmed,
yeah, I would be very disappointed because I just feel like my daughter. She's very beautiful. She's very smart, and I see women out there, on YouTube like twerking and stuff like that, and I just don't think that's becoming of something that I would expect my daughter to do. There's no reason for her to do something like that. So I would be very upset.
okay.
I mean, but again, there would be nothing I could do. She's 26, living on her own. So, it would be nothing I could do. But yeah, I would definitely be disappointed. I definitely would, talk to her about it. But again, what could I do? She's 26.
Okay. I'm just curious. All right.
But I don't think it now. Let's just use that example. If she was twerking somewhere, she was like, if I text her, she go, yeah, Mom, when I'm at the club, I twerk. Does that change the fact of her being a smart girl? Does that change the fact of her being a college graduate? Does that change the fact of her having a successful career? No, it doesn't. So does that mean no man would want her because she twerked at a club? I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing, though. Depending on what club you twerked at, there may be more interest, but your degree and all that shit don't matter when you clapping cheeks on the dance floor. Like nobody cares about all of that. So the way you're being
right,
represented
it's all the same.
is just as any of these, degree-less chicks or whatever.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so if a man, let's just say a man approached her because he saw her twerking, let's just use that as an example, and he started talking to her, he would quickly find out that no, she's an educated girl, she's about her business, whatever. So that man would quickly see either A, you know what I'm saying, she seems decent even though she's twerking, or B, he could just not like her because she twerked, and that would be his choice.
I don't think any of those things would change the opinion of that man. Whatever decision he had made upon approach, he's probably going to stick with, regardless of the information that's being shared. But
well, no, I think if you meet somebody at a club, like if you meet someone, let's say, you can meet somebody that looks a certain way. Okay, my husband rides bikes, so when he first approached me, he was in biker stuff. Well, before him, I never was attracted to anybody who rides motorcycles. I didn't think it was cute to be a biker. I didn't like it. So when he approached me, I kind of was like, just kind of. And then when he started explaining, he has a master's degree, he, where he works, what he does, then I was more impressed. So it doesn't matter what your first impression is.
But here's where you got to confuse, though. The situations are different. That is you being a woman being impressed by the man. Men don't care about this.
Yeah,
they don't care about.
And you know what? That might be kind of true. The men maybe don't. Maybe they don't. And that goes back to when you guys say, "Oh, all the women are ghetto," because maybe you're not looking deep enough. If you're gonna say, "Oh, well, she's an educated, degree woman with a successful career at 26," you're gonna say, "But I still don't like her because she twerked." That's what the problem is with people, and that's why there's so many single people, because everybody is not going to be everything you want. What if I would have looked at my husband and said, no, I don't like him because I don't give a care how educated he is, what he got going on, because he's a biker, I don't like him. That's silly. What is you can't have everything. You gotta pick and choose what's important to you.
But again, like I said, to a man, all that education stuff, those are like things that are valuable to women. I guess like personal accomplishments. Some dudes may. I don't know. I guess if you're like business oriented, y'all got
Yeah,
goals
a
that you're
lot of
driven.
men
But
like women who have accomplished something in life. Don't get that twisted. A
again,
lot of
I think
men are
again,
impressed.
I think you're coming from your perspective, and again, I think
Yeah.
you're in a smaller percentage than the rest of us, the what we see and the way we
Men
experience.
don't want to think that you just a lazy broad living off the county looking for a man to take care of them. They want to see, okay, you're single, but you got it going on. You go to work every day or you got your own little business or whatever. They want to see that you have some hustle in you. You got something about going on about you. They don't want to just, I don't know, the men I know, they don't want no lazy ass broad laying on the couch. She could be fine as, she could be a dime, a 10. But if she has no ambition and no goals, a lot of men are not going to want her. And if you're the type of man that's just going to choose her because she's fine, then you need to take care of her. You chose her to be fine. You didn't choose her to be a mate and help you build an empire. You chose her because she was cute, laying on the couch, and she can twerk. So you got what you wanted.
Okay. So here's my thing, right? And I get that. So what would you say? Do you think more women push for being successful or being attractive?
That's a good question. um, you can't. You do. I think I'll just look out of my group of friends. It has to be both. You have to be. Oh God, it has to be both. Like you know, you gotta keep your body tight. You gotta watch what you eat. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, do those things. But you also have to be the type of woman that when a man looks at you, he can see a future with you. You can't ask for a man with a 750 credit score when you have a 400 square. You know what I'm saying? Usually men want a woman that's equally yoked. He wants a woman that if he's out there getting it, trying to get it, I want to buy this house and I want to do this and I want to do that. He wants a woman with the same goals. So you can't just push your looks because, okay, your looks is only going to get you so far. He start asking you questions and you start talking about, yeah, I was at the club twerking and I don't have no job. He's going to be turned off. Or he going to want you for one thing, to screw you and that's it. So I think maybe that's the problem that men are having is that it's not one dimensional. It has to be both.
But here's the thing. That's not the question. The question is, what do women work on more, their success or their attractiveness?
I think women that truly know what men want, they know it has to be both. You have to look cute when they look at you, otherwise they're not going to even look at you. And you have to have your shit together when they start talking to you. You can't be talking crazy. I don't have a car, my car got repo. Like, oh, that's unattractive to successful men. So it has to be both. I just left at 6:30 in the morning, walking hundreds of steps with my girlfriend who owns 3 state farms. Now she's off to work to make her money. She's successful, but she knows we have to keep our body tight. So, I mean, if you're talking about a quality woman, she's going to do both. There's enough time in the day to do both. I'm sitting here working, but I'm moisturizing my skin. I got out a clay mask. I'm getting ready to go to Vegas. I'm getting ready. I'm getting all my stuff. You know what I'm saying? So any real woman is going to work on both. It's not a one-way street. You ain't going to lay up and get fat, but you working on your degree. No. No. You got to do both. I don't think there's a choice.
Okay, you keep kind of qualifying the question a little bit. You say what you think women should do or what a quality woman would. There's no.
I just gave you an example. I just gave you a
what I'm
specific
saying,
example of me and my girlfriend going to walk the steps before we start our career. So I'm saying my answer was that if you're a quality woman, you know you have to do both. You have to work on both.
But every woman is not a quality woman, though. So what I'm saying is,
okay,
what are most women in general, not quality, not special, not celebrity trainer, not Hollywood, just women in general in the United States of America. What do
My
you think they
answer,
put more value in? Achieving their successes or trying to be attractive?
I feel that most women want to get their money first. If I had to answer the question that way, I know if it was me, if I had to make a choice on working out this morning or being at work right now, get my money, I would get my money. If I, you know what I'm saying, if you're saying I can't do both, then I would get my money first. So I think most women have to have a roof over their head. They have to have a car. They have to have clothes, food. So I think most women are going to work on their getting their money first.
Okay. Okay. I disagree, but if you see it that way, I
You
believe.
feel like most women would want to be cute and broke?
A fucking thousand times, yes, I
Really?
have seen it. I know it for a fact. Women would
Oh
rather
my
have
God.
the attention. They would
And be
rather
broke.
have than be broke and and fake the funk like they got something going on than really have some substance going on. So I vehemently disagree. Because what I mean,
Where are you? Where do you find
I
these
mean, just
women
take
at that
let's
have
just let's
no?
let's just they're everywhere. They're women in America. These are Western women. They're everywhere. The majority of women in America are this way. But here's my thing. Like, if not, like let's take for instance, like what do you think is like the biggest niche of videos for like women who watch YouTube? Do you think it's in the business section or in the beauty section?
I know I say speak for me. I don't know what all women do. I never poll women, but for me, it's more in the beauty section because I already got my job and I'm already, you know what I'm saying, financially stable. So I don't need to watch a lot of stuff. Although I do watch certain stuff that I think, maybe I can learn from. It's this black dude that does investment stuff, and I never knew a lot about stocks and bonds. So he does a show every morning at like 6 a.m. and I watch his show. But for the most part, um, I like to people watch, so I watch all different kind of things. But I don't watch a lot of workplace stuff because I work all day, So I'm not interested. So yeah. But
Um,
most women, I think they will watch beauty tips, like or stuff like that on YouTube. If they're in their personal time, like I watch YouTube while I'm sitting here working, or when I have free time, so I'm gonna watch things that I enjoy. I'm not gonna be watching stuff on my work. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like most women, when you get on YouTube, it's in your free time, so you're gonna watch things you enjoy.
women.
I enjoy your show. I watch you, even though I got cussed the fuck out last time I got on here. I still like to watch you, so that's what I'm watching.
But so do women? Women are avid readers in this country. Um, reading is informative. Do you think women read more books on personal development or let's say spicy grocery store checkout stand literature?
I can tell you, I can't see. It's hard for me to say for most women, but I would say, for me personally, unless I'm taking a class or something like right now, I'm having to take get this other, certificate for my job. So I read about that. But like I said, if I'm reading in my personal time, like, I like to read stuff that interests me. So I'm more reading like juicy stuff, stuff like that. So I think it just depends on the woman and where she's at and what she got going on. If she's, in school, then she's probably reading more educational stuff. If she's not, and it's her free time, she probably just reading stuff. I like to read stuff about decorating my house and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I read. I'm into real estate. I like to look at architecture. So I read stuff like that.
Okay. Um,
I just think, Honcho, this is the beginning and the ending of it all. I just feel you cannot group black women like that. You
oh,
can't. We're all so different. You can't say most black women do this or most black women do that. It's most black women in your experience. So guess what that means? You got to change your experience. You got to change where you meeting women. You got to. What do they say? The sign of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. If you're only running into ghetto mamas, then you need to change where you're going.
okay. So I have a question then, Miss Bougie.
That's for
Where
men or women.
where do you meet the non weave wearing women, black women?
not. I don't know because I'm a weave wearing woman, so I don't know.
I mean, you know, how about
I don't know.
uh,
You like women with natural hair, like dreads and stuff? I don't know. Go to a reggae club. I don't know. I don't know because I wear weave, so that wouldn't be something I would, And like we just talked about in the beginning of the conversation, a lot of all women, not just black, wear weaves or extensions or tracks or something of all colors. So, but it's only, once again, I repeat, the black women that put down their black women for doing it. White men
because
don't.
it is
Why?
not their hair. That's the only reason why. Like if it was a bunch of black women wearing a bunch of Marley weave, I don't think it would even really be a thing because it's your hair
They
texture.
do.
There's some do, very few do,
Yeah.
but the majority go get the
But
European injection. The hair is, we all know what the process is, and that's the thing. Women like that.
okay,
Like with that,
okay. So let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a real question.
yeah, absolutely.
Why do you think it's only black? Like a lot of white women wear wigs and weaves. Why do you think the
You're
white men?
missing the part. Like I
No,
said.
can
Okay,
I
go ahead.
finish my
Carry
question
on.
to
Yes,
you?
go ahead. Carry on.
Okay. Why do you think most white men ain't out there saying, "Yeah, y'all wearing wigs and whoopsie"? Like, why aren't they putting down their women for wearing them?
Because they're
Why?
not
Why do they
wearing
still?
crazy. They're not wearing a different texture, unnatural texture of hair upon there. So it's not. They're not deviating from their culture. That's European hair,
Okay,
the
so
straight
it's
hair. So it
okay to
looks
wear
like they
weaves.
look like themselves.
Okay, so it's okay to wear weaves as long as the men approve of the texture that they
It's
wear.
not about approving. See, now you're trying to change it. Wear your hair. That's it. It's that simple. Wear your hair. The what you were given naturally is amazing, beautiful,
Okay.
a
So
crown.
if they wear a kinky wig, it's okay.
It,
Just don't wear a straight one.
looks like it's something that could possibly truly grow out of your head. It makes sense. Anything else is a costume.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's your feeling. So, black women can wear weaves as long as they are the same texture as their hair, and
I mean,
I guess you never see.
I would prefer none at all. I'd rather have a low fade than wear weave in her head.
Okay. So I guess you never seen white women putting braids in their hair or wearing
I've
the
seen
Bob
it, but
Marley
I
style.
don't care about that. I don't. I have
Okay, but what
absolutely
I'm
no
saying is,
concern about that. Like if
my
I sit here,
question
but
was
I
to
preface everything
you.
that I am attracted to black women. That's what I like. That's what
Right,
I'm concerned
but
with.
my
So
question to
why do I
you
care what they're
wasn't
doing across the pond?
right. But my question to you wasn't that because you're very, good at keeping me on task as to what my question was.
Mm-hmm.
What your question was. My question was, why do you think that white men don't get on lives and go on TV talking about, she got a wig? Why don't white men put down their women like black men put down us?
Because they're not. Again, it's the unnatural look. If they were out there,
Oh,
if
it's
black,
okay.
if white women start wearing afros and just wearing these big
They
blowout fucking
haven't.
afros, I'm sure they have in the past, but we didn't have the platforms to fucking talk about it back then. And I'm sure the white men were like, "What the
Okay.
fuck is going on?" If they were to start doing that in 2020, 2021, white men just start wearing them, I guarantee you're going to see an influx of white men going in on that shit. And then to kind of counter that question, how many white men do you actually follow to get their opinion on white women?
I have white friends. What are you talking about?
Okay,
I work with nothing but white people.
and so you talk to those white men about their opinions on white women?
Well, we don't specifically get into color because that's tacky, but my whole channel is reviewing Real Housewives and shows that are predominantly with white women. And no, you don't ever see on those shows the men getting on saying, "I hate your wig," and "Why don't white women stop wearing wigs and weaves?"
But
And
look at that
no,
show.
they
Look
don't
at
do
they're
that.
not going to do that on that show because that show is catering to a particular audience, and that would be bad for their audience, or it may be negative.
Well, I'm just saying, I've looked on you. I've never seen I've never seen any other race put down their women the way black men do.
Because no other
Never.
race of women is doing the thing in the goddamn, what's the I can't think of the word I want to use, but basically the percentages that black women are doing it. Like you said, you would say 75, I would say 95, but still 75 is 3/4 of black women. So when you have this many women going against the grain and putting in unnatural, different texture, or cutting their own hair off to slap some other hair on, or going and getting a wig, or chemically altering, like all of these things as a damn near as a whole race. The smaller percentage of you don't do it. That's a problem. It doesn't. If a white woman has hair to her fucking bob cut and she throws some extra straight blonde shit that look like it, then okay, it looks like it's feasible enough to say, hey, she could have possibly grown that. It doesn't look outrageous. But if you fucking dark as me and you got some platinum fucking blonde in your head and that ain't you look fucking ridiculous. It just is what it is. You got this straight ass
So
fucking
women
shit down
can't.
to
So
your
black
ankle.
women can't change up the color of their hair.
You can do whatever you want to, but accept the fact that you look ridiculous. If you want to choose to look ridiculous, or if you want to choose to go out and look like you're wearing a costume, then
Well, why
have
do
at
you?
it.
Why is it? I think it's selective outrage, because why is it that the white men don't come out and say, I'm tired of my white women getting booty injections to look like black girls. I'm tired of my wife put injections in her lips to look like black women's lips. I'm tired of that. Why don't they come down and drag their women for doing things? I'm tired of my woman getting a tan. Why is that okay?
Because we're still, black women do that still more. For black women that supposedly have all the bodies and all this stuff, they're doing that more than white women. Again, by percentage wise.
Do you have a statistic on that?
Do you have a statistic on that? Do you have the number of white women that are doing that?
I didn't make the accusation. You did, so I would assume you would know that.
I do not have accuracy, but I guarantee you I could pull up more injected and puffed up black women than you could find white women.
Well, that's just an opinion. That's not a fact.
I could factually pull up more and show you more than you could show
me. Okay, but that's not. Okay.
And again, why do we keep reverting to the white? I'm not white. I'm not sexually interested or physically interested in white women.
Because we got off the whole topic of are there good black men out there? I don't know how we got on this. But my thing is, if you're going to challenge a standpoint, then you have to look at the other side. You can't just look at one side.
What is the other side?
I'm able to look at one side and say, yeah, there's a lot of twerking black women, okay? Mm-hmm. But I'm not willing to say that other women don't do the same thing. There's other women that try to alter their looks to look black, and there's black women that wear weaves. I don't see that there's a difference.
Doesn't matter what those other women do.
All right.
If we're talking about, like, let's take this back. So if we're talking about, like the other day, the conversation was black women being protected. So if I said, well, hey, white women aren't getting protected enough, well, what about, like, you wouldn't want to have that conversation because you wouldn't care. It was irrelevant to black women being protected.
I would. And as a matter of fact, I feel like I watched like 2 minutes and I saw how black women was getting drugged yesterday, so I just watched something else. But I have the perfect example. Kamala Harris, the vice president, a mixed black woman, right?
An Indian
She
woman
just got called
color.
a monster yesterday. She just got called a monster. Where we talking about black women being protected? Where were all the activists and all the actors and everybody standing up saying, "Oh no, we're not going to do that"? But when Snoop Dogg came out and said something against Martha Stewart, we had all kind of people saying, "No, you're
More
not."
people went out and said against fucking when he said that shit about Gail after she tried to talk about Kobe post-mortem. And he called Gail a funky dog bitch, and they jumped all over Snoop. So is that not protecting black women?
No, I agree she was wrong. But what I'm saying is there was a lot of people, a lot of white men out there and women standing up for her. But when he called Camilla all these names, there are no prominent black people standing up for her. Why do you think that is?
I'll tell you exactly why. She's a Democrat, and there's no straight black men in the Democratic Party. So who's gonna stand up? Go get one of the
somebody else.
Go get one of the gays to stand up. Name me a prominent straight black man in the Democratic Party. Andrew Gillum? Is that
okay? You guys, I'm just talking about all the black activists, all the black actors.
I don't support her. I don't think she's black. She's an Indian woman. That's not my job. Go find Gandhi to go take care of that. She's Indian.
Not facts, and that's the only thing that if we're gonna talk, let's talk facts. She's Asian and Jamaican, so she is a black woman. She's a mixed black woman.
Jamaican?
And I just heard on the Discord, y'all talking about how y'all rather fuck foreign women. So let's don't act like she ain't black. She is. We all know the rule. If you got one drop of black, you black.
Who made that rule?
So where were all the people where are they? Why ain't nobody said? because black women are not put on a pedestal where like, oh no, you
Look,
went too far. You're not going to do that.
here's
No,
here's
it's
the deal.
fine.
If I saw somebody throwing rocks at Kamala Harris in the street, and I was the only black man in the vicinity, I would step further away so they had a better shot. I would not go out of my way to protect Kamala Harris, who's been Indian up until 2 months ago. Now is all of a sudden black when convenient, or a woman of color.
She's always said she's no. She's
Man,
always
she ain't
no.
always
She's
said
always
no.
said
No,
she's Jamaican and black.
no, she has not. When
Yes, she
convenient,
has.
when has she said it? When she's not on the Breakfast Club, or when she's not on fucking Jimmy Kimmel swearing she was listening to Tupac and smoking weed, but just you locked all these other niggas up for that shit. Like,
The
I ain't no
the
love for no fucking
comparison
Kamala
that I'm
Harris. She
trying
deserves
to
everything
show,
she gets. A
and
monster
I'm
ain't
not
that
trying
bad.
to. It's just something to think about. When you think about when somebody comes out in the media and says something against a white woman, everybody jumps up to her defense. When us black women get defamed, our black men don't stand up for us. Okay,
Okay, so that's what I'm
so
saying. Like these
that's just what
again,
it is.
these are not comparative situations, and so that's what I'm like. That's what I'm still trying to figure. One, Kamala Harris is not black, so I need like a better situation because
She
I don't
is
consider
black.
she's not black
You
because
sat
you
there and
consider her
said
black.
Cardi B was black all your life, and she is not black. But Kamala is.
Because
You
black
don't
women
think Jamaicans are
support.
black? Are Jamaicans not black?
No, it's because you're Jamaican. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
But
black is
your
such a
skin
generic
color is
term.
still black.
Oh man.
If I'm Jamaican and I'm in a car and the police pull me over, they're going to check black. Jamaicans are black. So she's a Jamaican, an Asian woman, and she's black.
I'm gonna pull up something here, and y'all tell me. I don't know how many black folks in the chat or people who know black people in the chat. Tell me if you think that these people have gone through the same level of
When
or
you
same
get harassed in a
experiences.
car by the police, they don't say, "Are you Jamaican? Or are you American black? Are you African American?"
I
If
don't know
you're
if you,
getting harassed, you're getting harassed because of the skin tone. It's not. They're not saying, "Are you from Nigeria? Or are you from South Carolina?" They're not saying that.
I don't know. I don't know if you can see the screen, Miss Bad and Bougie, but you
No,
see.
I can't because I'm
Okay.
on my phone.
Okay. Whenever you get a chance, like I said, I'm posting this picture up, and when you look at these two people, the first thing that comes to mind is not black. I have family that is black, but they passed. They're so fair skinned or whatever you want to call it that back in the day when segregation was a thing, they used to be able to ride in the white cars and the train. Like all of this, well, they look this or look that. It doesn't really mean a whole lot, right? And so what I'm saying is, this woman has identified, has claimed Indian, and used that to her benefit. First, Indian
She's
this, that,
not.
and the
She's never claimed Indian. She's
Oh my
Asian and
God!
Jamaican.
This is
She's
okay.
Asian and Jamaican.
Okay, so I'm gonna after this stream, I'm gonna provide you facts in the Discord, and I'll give you
Okay,
evidence of
and
her
I'm
saying
gonna
this herself.
provide you facts.
Okay, well,
They just
absolutely.
did a whole 2-hour documentary on her that I watched on Sunday, and they showed both her
And
parents.
where did you
Her
watch
mother
that?
is
Where did you
clearly
watch it?
Asian.
Where did you watch that documentary? Where?
I'll send you. I'll find it and send you the name of it.
Okay. No, I would definitely like to see that. But
Yeah, they showed pictures of her parents. Showed pictures of her as a little girl with her mother, with her daddy. She's Asian and black.
I say we as black folks, we love to attach, everything else.
Even
to
if she was Indian and black, she's still black. Either way, it's kind of a mute issue, but she's.
But no, because here's the thing. Who needs to cater for her? The white husband that she has. All right, that's who needs to be saving her. So it's not my job to fucking be giving a fuck about what Kamala Harris is going through. So that's what.
Wait a minute.
So that's not my job, right? I don't.
So what's wrong with her husband being white?
There's nothing wrong with her husband being white. But you want black men to stand up for. She has chosen a white man. So why shouldn't he be standing up for her? So why does it make that my job to do so? Just because she's black, no matter what, like I'm supposed to root for her?
I didn't say your job. I just said as a whole, media did not stand up for her when she was demeaned as they did for a Martha Stewart. Why is that?
And what was Martha Stewart called, and what was compared to Kamala being called a monster?
she was called all kind of she was called all kind of
I don't
stuff.
know what she was called. That's what I'm saying. Like I need specific. Like
Well, go look at
I
Snoop
didn't know
Dogg's
Martha.
video of Martha Stewart, and you'll see a little bit of it.
Okay, well, like I said, I'm pretty sure he got just as vilified with the Gayle comments because he came out. So that's a black woman that everybody came to bat for and protected. So like the same way you can give Martha Stewart in this, well, I can give you an example where a black woman was protected. And she was in the wrong. Like she's the one that shouldn't have said the fucking shit she said. And yet, Snoop, when Gayle was trying to get the who was it, Lisa Leslie to say bad stuff about Kobe after he died, well, was he aggressive and all that shit? Like the man's dead. He was acquitted of that case. He kept trying to bring up the rape case.
Yeah, that was totally wrong.
Okay.
I don't watch her to this day because of that.
Okay, and then Snoop said something about it, but yet
Right.
more people got on Snoop saying something than they did on her saying what she said.
There's another, my point exactly. But when it's a black woman getting demeaned by a white man, you like, oh well, her husband white, so oh well, let her. Like,
That's not my job. I don't identify with Kemah, and I'm going to be straight up, and I say it all the time. It's not my job to save it. I'm not trying to save everybody. That's the first thing I say.
I'm not speaking of you personally, but I'm just saying as a whole.
I think other men should
people,
implement my mentality. I honestly do, because
I feel as a whole, as black people should stand up and stop people from demeaning and degrading our black women and our black men.
Okay, well, somebody should have told Kamala to stop doing it. Because she's the motherfucker that was locking niggas up. So now all of a sudden, because it's convenient and favorable.
If you do the crime, you got to do the time.
Okay, but here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? How do you enforce a crime that you come back to and openly admit that you did? That's what I'm saying.
Say that again.
The hypocrisy. Like, so how do you be so staunch on a crime that now when it's convenient and sounds relatable, you come out and open. So I used to do that too. So the same thing that you claim that you used to do in college and whatever else, you were locking thousands and thousands of people up for.
Oh, I don't know about that. But anyway, I'm going to let somebody get on the phone. I'm sure people is dying to get on and, rake me over the coals and tell me to shut the fuck up and all that. So I'm going to let you take your next call.
All right. Well, I will be looking forward to it.
But it was nice talking to you,
yes,
as usual.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Bambush, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts.
Bye.
All right. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this afternoon?
Oh, how you doing, Honcho? It's John from New York.
John, my favorite New Yorker. How you doing this afternoon, sir?
Doing good. Putting together a little video that I'm going to probably put out later. Still debating, though. Other than that, I'm doing phenomenal. How about you?
I don't know right now. I need about 30 more seconds to figure out.
To wind down.
Yeah, just like with the fucking pressure cookers, you kind of just what they call the natural release. You just let it, decompress. Yeah,
just pull the plug. Yeah. Just pull the plug. When in doubt, just pull the plug.
No, but Mr. John, we've had some conversations this week about some different things, and you're a man who's had many experiences, and that's why I really appreciate when you call in. Do you think that black women have limited dating experiences or opportunities, in America?
All right. So before I start, I'm going to give the typical white guy disclaimer, because we're all supposed to be equal, but yet I have to give a disclaimer before I talk about even just a specific group. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to speak in general terms. I'm going to do my best to try and pinpoint each topic I'm talking about, but people will still get offended because it's coming out of a white man's mouth and mind. So what was your question now?
Do you think that American black women have limited dating options?
Okay. I think women within all groups who are considered the least desirable of their group will have a limited dating option. Same thing goes for the men who are the least desirable on a universal standard within each racial group. Now, some groups of people have a higher prevalency of an issue, even if it's an issue that's shared amongst racial groups. So there's, whether you want to call them stereotypes, reality, whatever you want to call it, there are certain things that affect certain groups and genders more than others. If you fit, the more you fit into a negative box, the more undesirable you're going to be to the masses.
I agree. A lot of people in a negative box. So what do you suggest for someone who may, check off a few of those negative boxes and they find themselves in an unpleasant area when it comes to dating?
I would say check your. Okay, so I had a comment that I left on one of your videos, and it was in regards to the topic of are black women unprotected. It was a general comment, and the comment went something along the lines of, good people of all races have always defended what they found valuable, whether it be a nation, property, or your family. If you feel unprotected, then either raise your value and or find new company to keep. So that would be my advice. If you're unhappy with your options, you're going to have to find out what it is about you that's not allowing you to have as many options and work on that. Usually it has a lot to do with your personality and your mind. Because there's a lot of people out there that are not considered a 10 on the beauty scale, or even a 7, 8, or a 9, and they find happiness with the opposite sex, or even with the same sex if they're in the gay community. So the reality is a lot of it has to do with gender roles. A lot of it has to do with just being bearable to your significant other or a potential significant other. And, people these days more than ever are stubborn. You can't tell me nothing. If you can't handle me, if you can't accept me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And that is a first class ticket to sitting on the bench by yourself. Whether you're a man or a woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really has to do with looking within and saying, people always say education is important, education is important. It is. Unfortunately, the education system in this country is dog shit. And education is not the same thing as intelligence. Education is learning knowledge, usually in a formal setting, like a university or a high school. Intelligence is more so how you apply your knowledge. So be intelligent and realize that what I've been doing is not working. Let me see how I could switch it up and make it more effective. And also is people are their worst enemies. People are their own biggest oppressors. When you say the dating options are limited, well, what are your dating options? Well, okay, so let's take a woman, for instance. If you're under 6 feet tall, we can only be friends. Well, you just eliminated like 92% of the human population. Most men are not over 6 feet tall. The average man in America is 5'10". I actually think, if I remember correctly, I looked at it years ago, 98% of men are under 6 feet tall.
Damn.
If you're a black man and you want to date a black woman, but you want her to be under 135 pounds, well, 54.8% of black women, when you age adjust, are clinically obese. That's age adjusted. It might be even higher for younger women versus older women. I don't know. But for age adjusted, 54.8% of black women are obese compared to 39.4% of white women.
You said 59.4?
And the average, I believe it was 54.8% when you age adjust for black women. And I think it was like 39.8 for white women age adjusted.
Okay.
So the reality is, depending what your standards are, whether they're realistic or not, is going to depend on what your dating options are.
Okay.
You know?
I asked Ms. Bougie a couple of questions. I don't know if you were able to hear them or not, but it's just one or two I want to present to you and maybe get
Okay.
the opinion of someone who isn't black, and then we'll go from there. And then I'm sure.
And just one thing, just one thing, please. I hate to cut you off.
Yes.
When they say obese, they also use. I know BMI is one thing, but it's also body fat percentage.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Certain cultures embrace thick. There's thick women in all cultures. Thick is thick. Most men know what thick is.
Yeah.
Somehow, curvy went from an hourglass figure to a basketball. Basketball is curvy, so is an hourglass. Basketball is a fucking circle. So, thick is thick, fat is fat. But, you know, they have all these voluptuous, BBW. They change all these terms. Listen, fat is fat, thick is thick, slim thick is slim thick, slender is slender, and anorexic is anorexic. But go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Yes. No. So I asked her a question about, most black women, and so she provided her perspective, and so maybe you see it from a different perspective. Do you think? Well, actually, I asked most women. Do you think most women are focused more on their success or more on their looks?
I think it's a combination. Again, you can find variations of that within all races and cultures. But I know that women know that men are visual creatures more so than women. Women know that men want a beautiful woman on their arm. This whole thing about I'm educated, I have a degree, that's wonderful. It's nice to know that you're not a complete bum. It really is. I'll speak for myself. It's nice to know that a woman is not a bum. It's nice to know that a woman has some aspirations and goals. It's nice. But if I'm going to sit here and look at a woman and say, I'm not going to turn a woman down because one has a PhD and another one has a bachelor's degree. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to how do you look and how do you treat me?
Correct.
Because what I found is that with women who have more, quote-unquote, advanced degrees in education, their personality is not more so, let me fix the problem when it occurs. It's let me teach you why I'm smarter than you and why I need to show you blah, 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 blah. So what I tell those types of women is you could take your education, your thoughts, stick it up your ass, and catch the fucking bus. Because whether you're smart or dumb, I just want peace in the house. So let's work on fixing this. I don't need you to tell me using Einstein's philosophy about how I was wrong. I fucked up. I apologize. Let's figure out how to make it better.
Yes,
so nobody cares. No, your mom cares about the diploma hanging on the wall. Your dad cares about the diploma. Your girlfriends, who pat each other on the back, they care. Most men really don't care outside of just knowing that you're not a complete bum.
Damn it, and there was another question. I forgot the other damn. I should start writing these things down. It'll come back to me in a moment.
And Kamala Harris is not black. You see, as a white man, as a racist, skinhead, white supremacist, grand cyclops wizard of white supremacy here speaking,
yes,
white people identified the one-drop rule. They created it. So when a black person says if you have one drop of black blood or you're 10% or 20% black, that makes you black, you're literally upholding the views of white supremacy. White people or anybody else who's racist are sitting back and laughing saying, yes, we still have the black community doing our work for free. Like, it's still mental slavery. And the irony is that in the beginning of this conversation, you start off by, not my conversation, but this whole show, you said how the littlest thing can get somebody invited to the black cookout.
yes.
So the reality is one drop of black blood does not make you black because it doesn't even make sense. The reason why that whole thing started was because slavery was a very expensive business and profitable business, obviously. And to buy a slave who was very well skilled in old money would equate to over $100,000 today if it was a very well skilled like blacksmith, carpenter, or whatever. So it was a way to have sex with the slaves, give birth, and not have to pay $100,000. And on top of that, you could raise the half-black child as yours, and it would be even more mentally enslaved because it's like, this is all I've known. I don't have to worry about running off the plantation because I'm not on a plantation. So, and the whole thing, it was there to also preserve white purity. So all these things, when black people say, well, if you're half black, you're black, and if you're a quarter black, you're black, one drop of black blood, you're black, that is literally done to hurt non-white people. So when black people talk like that, I feel embarrassed for them. Because if white blood is so pure and so strong and dominant, how could one drop of anyone else's blood defeat the greatest blood in the world, which is white blood? It doesn't even make sense. On the face of the principle that it was founded on, it doesn't even make sense. If white blood is the purest and the strongest, then one drop of anything shouldn't be able to affect it because it's so powerful. Doesn't even make sense. But whatever. I got a little off course. Oh, no. Kamala Harris is not black. She's a biracial. She has a mom from East India, and she has a dad who is of biracial Jamaican descent. They probably consider him a Coolie Indo-Jamaican or a Coolie. She is a mixed race or biracial woman. Okay? And it's funny that she's vice president, she's Joe Biden's VP nominee, and she calls Donald Trump racist, but she literally gave Joe Biden a whole lecture during the Democrat primaries about how she couldn't get on a bus due to segregation because Joe Biden passed those bills or whatever, and he's a racist. But somehow now it's Trump that's the racist. But I'm sorry for getting off course. What are some of the other questions you want to ask me?
No, you're fine. Man, I'm just, like I say, I just want to have a different perspective. I can't, there was a couple other things I asked, and I can't remember some of them now. We covered a wide array of things, and so I've lost a little bit of track myself. So do you think, from an outside perspective, you can't give us this perspective, what do you think it is that makes outsiders view black women as a whole differently than maybe other races?
Oh, you mean like as far as like a dating option or something like that?
Yeah, like a dating option. I think it might have been you that shared, or I heard it somewhere that said like the Asian men and that black women are the least clicked on these dating sites. That there was, I think there was accuracy. Somebody said that.
I have heard that. I don't know if it was me that said it to you or not. I don't think it was, but I have heard that. I think it has to do with what all races of people find to be universally attractive and desirable, not just in a physical way, but, personality traits, character, stuff like that. I can tell you as a white man who is open to dating all races of women and pretty much has dated all races of women, some more than others, is that, now this is going to sound rude, and I'm not picking on black women by saying this, I'm just speaking my truth that I have lived here in liberal New York. And it's not all black women, but in general, and I can speak for the guys that I've spoken to in the past about interracial dating, because they usually come to me to find out these answers because I've done it so many years over my life. Hi. As a white guy, you get, I don't want to use the least benefits, but you get the most grief for dating a black woman out of dating any woman outside of your race. So, for example, I've never had an issue going out to a restaurant or to an amusement park with a white woman because she was white. No one ever came up to me and started shit because I was with someone of my same race. No one ever came up to me because I was with an Indian woman. No one ever came up to me and gave me shit because I was with a Chinese woman. No one ever came up to me because I was with a Puerto Rican woman. But I have had people start shit because I'm with a black woman. As a white guy, as somebody who's not black, why would you want to put up with that shit when you can go to an Asian woman, a Hispanic woman, a white woman, you go to any other woman and not have to put up with that bullshit? As a white guy, I know when I go out and date an Indian woman, a Puerto Rican woman, Puerto Rican's not a race, but whatever, an Asian woman. I don't have to worry if she washes her hair once a month or once every 2 weeks, or as they call it, a 10-day wash. I know that people with, for lack of a better term, with white people hair usually wash their hair at least multiple times per week. There's no benefit for a lot of non-black men to date a black woman because of most of it being society. A lot of black women, American, keyword American, have a very domineering attitude. Now, a black woman will say, well, we're too strong, you can't handle us. That's fine. Fair enough. They don't want to handle you. Okay, no man wants to come home and have to handle a woman. They're not a zookeeper. They're not fucking here to tame a wild lion. They want their women to be, gentle and docile and sweet. There's really no benefit to dating a black woman as a non-black man when you have so many other options that you don't have to put up with bullshit. Now, a lot of it is society's fault. Fair enough. But as a white guy, as an Asian guy, as a Hispanic guy, as an Indian guy, you're going to sit here and say, yeah, I might find this black woman attractive physically, but I got to put up with all this bullshit if I date her. Now, with that being said, I still date black women. I treat everyone as an individual. I don't treat people as a race. I know if I date one black woman who washes her hair once a month and she's a little bit out of shape and she got a domineering attitude and she just fits all the negative stereotypes, I know the next black woman doesn't necessarily have to fit those stereotypes. She might be a complete 180. But I think that's why a lot of people, generally speaking, won't even attempt to date people of certain races. A lot of black women might say, I won't date a white guy because white people are racist. Some of them are, but if you treat white guys as individuals, you might find out that a lot of them are not racist, and your dating options might open because now you have a whole other group of men to date. So that's why I would say black women have limited dating options, because a lot of black men don't like what they feel is common amongst American black women, which is the attitude, the obesity rate, the whole I'm educated, I'm better than you mentality. So if men of your own race at growing numbers don't want you, you think men from other races are going to look at that and say, oh yeah, I'll take that? No. And black men have been increasing their options with other races of women. Even if it's foreign black women, they've been increasing their options with other types of women, and they realize as they move up the corporate ladder, because more black men are going to college now than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. They're being exposed to different cultures. They're moving up in business. I'm actually going to do a video today about how Yelp wants to put racism alerts on businesses that are racist.
What the
and then it started talking about they want to help black businesses, and they're talking about how black businesses are struggling, this and that. But I just did some research that showed that black businesses are not struggling, and that a website which a lot of black people and other agencies go to verify is using a skewed demographic that says there's only 124,000 black companies that employ people, but when you take out their little metric, it's actually 2.5 million African-American businesses that employ people, and that the number is 9.4% of all businesses, which is just shy of the population, which is 12%, and this study was from 2015, and Trump just boosted the most year-over-year black business growth. So black people might actually be at their population percentage rate within the business world. And I uncovered a whole slew of things, which I realized that white media, black media, they're all in on together to make black people look like they're not doing well. So the whole point is black men are moving up in the corporate world, and they're being exposed to different types of women, different types of cultures. And there are horrible women in all cultures in terms of they're masculine, they're too bossy, they're bitchy, they throw their degree in your face, they're overweight, they're obese, they got multiple kids. That happens in all races. But what they're finding is they're having an easier time with other women. They don't have to search through and they don't have to find a needle in the haystack with other races of women. And they just see it as like, okay, great. She's a great person. I see her for her and I'm going to date her. And what happens is a larger percentage of black women are being left behind than women of other races are being left behind. And that's where the whole limited dating options conversation, I think, comes up from.
It's kind of to break it down with facts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I mean, and also I went to census.gov to find these facts, which is funny, is because blackdemographics.com went to census.gov, but what they did was they changed it from 50% ownership to being a black-owned business to 51% black ownership to be a business, and the number went from 2.6 million to you know what I mean? This is why I tell people, we're all slaves. We're all on the same plantation. And back in the day, there was white slave masters, black slave masters, and Jewish slave masters, and there still is today. Because black demographics is making money off of exploiting black people, and so are white people. That's why I tell everybody, stop fighting about black, white, brown, or yellow, and start fighting against your crooked politicians.
Yes, just don't have a plot to go kidnap them.
No, we're not kidnapping no governors.
Yeah.
Nobody.
At least if you do plan better, I guess. Huh? Don't get caught before it happens. When you deal with that, I would never. I don't even know who the governor of Texas is. Is still up buddy in the wheelchair? I don't even know. But yeah, and again, that's why I love when John Call Man presents facts. He told you. I know there's some disagreements in the thing. But he told you where he got the fact. Bougie, me and you, we finna, like I said, I'm going to bring you all the facts in Discord after this. Because you can't just discredit somebody's facts because you don't like them and call them non-facts. Man, until you went to census.gov and he told you exactly how he calculated or how he...
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't want to cut you off, Honcho, but I'm a little annoyed right now. Me and Ban and Bougie really don't get to it. We don't really agree on much. And, and I feel bad because every time I talk about her, I'm just bashing her because she said something that I said was wrong or horrible. But I'm literally sitting here as a evil, racist white devil. And I'm literally sitting here saying that things are better for black people than the media paints the picture of. And she's literally nitpicking me that, where's the facts? And just because, dude, it's the U.S. Gov, census.gov, go there. It's like you can't. The saying is true. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. That saying is so fucking true. It's almost like some black people don't want to realize what their true worth is. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. But my whole point is this. Yes, there are black women that have limited dating options, but those are what we call the undesirables. There are white women that have limited dating options. They're the undesirables. Believe it or not, there's even Asians who are undesirable. Even though it seems like everybody wants an Asian woman these days, but especially white guys. But my whole point is make yourself more desirable. Men don't care too much about your degree. They care a little bit in the sense that they don't want no bum, they don't want no man leeching off of, no woman leeching off of him. But really, you should work on your personality. Here's the thing. It's you said it a million times, that women like a man with resources. Women are attracted to men who are powerful, have money, things like that. That's wonderful. Men are attracted to a woman with resources. Do you cook for me? Do you clean for me? Do you not try to win every single battle in our war? Do you know to shut the fuck up sometimes? Because you don't have to win every battle to win the war. Then that's submissive. Submissive means that sometimes you just shut the fuck up, even if you're right. It doesn't mean every time. It doesn't mean you're a doormat. But somehow submissive is supposed to mean that someone wants a slave. That's not what a slave means. So make yourself more desirable. That's it. Men are allowed to have what we are allowed to ask for resources from you, and you're allowed to ask for resources from us. It's a business exchange. I pay the motherfucking bills in the house. I protect you when someone breaks into the fucking house. I'll whatever. When somebody talks bad about you, I'll defend you. when I come home from work, I want fucking dinner at the table at 6 p.m. That's it. It's that simple.
Yeah, man, it's not that hard. Like I say, I think we a lot of times we just look for reasons to, create unnecessary conflicts and overcomplicate things. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I guess it's just, I can't blame it on 2020. It's been happening for years. So, yeah, but I agree, Mr. John. Damn it, I thought my almost had it.
And the thing with the weave, the fake hair thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like. Okay, so I'm going to let you in on, since some black people don't have the privilege of being in on private white people conversations, I'm going to spill some secrets.
All right, listen.
Most white people expect two things when a black woman shows up: either a Afro-textured hair, like Afro-textured hair, some form of hairstyle that looks like that, or a fucking weave with white people hair on it. Like, that's what they expect. They think that the weave is embarrassing. Like, it's to them, like, it's like a joke. Like, but they're so used to it that it's just like no one really brings it up. But like, if it does, like, it's just like they think it's such a joke. And for me, when I look at a black woman and she's wearing a wig of another race's head on her hair, and I know there's some tribe in Africa where 3 people have straight hair, but reality is each race predominantly has a certain hair texture. They think it's a joke. They feel sorry for you. They feel that you're lost. It's like, it's embarrassing. That's how a lot of white people feel. They'll never say it to you, but that's how they feel. Like, you want to sit here and scream, I'm proud and I'm black, but you won't wear your natural hair. And then the whole thing where black women will say, well, we weren't allowed to wear our natural hair, and our natural hair gets messy when we go to work. It gets called messy when we wear natural hair to work, and it's called unkept and this and that. That was all true. That's 100% fact. I can't deny that, even if I wanted to. It's a fact. But the reality is that there are a lot of black women in various positions in the corporate world that wear their natural hair. By natural, I mean a fucking afro. I mean tightly coiled hair. Now, I don't talk about they straighten their natural hair, that are doctors, lawyers, engineers, child psychologists, entrepreneurs, all the way down to the bank teller that wear their natural hair. I've seen black women with 4C hair wear their natural hair to work in all different positions, whether you're a rank and file employee or you're a fucking CEO. So we all know it's an excuse. You feel ugly with your natural hair. You don't feel pretty unless you put white people hair in your head. I have a gazillion, billion black women that I've had this conversation with. I have black female friends who I talk to, and they say that their aunts, their moms, their cousins wouldn't be caught dead leaving the house with their natural hair because they don't feel complete without it. I was talking to this black woman who I was on a Skype call with her because I met her on a dating app back in the day, and she had on whatever wig or whatever, and I was like, I'm not even interested in this. And she ended up getting back on a Skype call with me like a couple of days later, like 2 days later. She hit me up, and I answered, and she had her natural hair. She had it in cornrows, but not like professionally done. Kind of, she just did it real quick because she wears a wig all the time. And the hair was like, I'm not saying because it was black, but the hair was horrible. Like, it was dry, it was loose, it just looked like she went through World War II and like didn't get a chance to take a shower. It just looked horrible. So I said to her, where's your wig? She goes, I just took it off. I said, you don't leave the house looking like that, right? And she's like joking around. She's like, no, I don't really know how to take care of it, so I just wear the wig. And I'm like, well, why don't you like ask your mom to teach you how to take care of it? She's like, oh no. She goes, I tried leaving the house once with a natural hairstyle, and my mom and my aunt made fun of me saying, where are you going looking like that? You look ugly, and people are gonna laugh at you if you leave the house like that.
Yeah.
And so she said ever since then she just wore a wig on her head. So this whole story about how black women can't wear their natural hair. Yeah, I'm sure there's some employers out there that are going to be a dick to you about it, but that's not the masses.
No, I will tell you
So,
hands down that black people will treat you worse than any white people will. The chick I used to be with that passed, I kind of got hurt through her, conversion into natural hair because like that's an important thing to me. And the only issues that she had, like when she stopped that other shit, is that it wasn't white people. White people love the afro. Oh man, I'm glad this looks so much better and all of this stuff. It would be black people. Why are you wearing your hair like that? Why are you doing that? That looks like. And again, like I say, mother, your own mom, and her sister, same thing. Like that's the only people giving feedback. Like, and so that's why I say I don't get it. I don't understand the shit. People always say, "Oh, it's because this." Goes, no, it's not. Because I see the reaction. We've all seen a fight video on YouTube where the weed has disconnected or the wig has come off. Instantly, the fighter shuts down, searches for the hairpiece, and retreats. Like every single time. Like if you want to win a fight, snatch the wig off. Fight is over with. She's gonna run away. You've seen 1,000 dance floor videos. Them Jamaicans, they get real wild. I've seen a ton of them where they snatch a bitch wig. She runs off. Like is embarrassed, hands on her head, embarrassed, like unwilling to show yourself in public without this shit on you. That's a problem to me. You know what I mean? That's a problem. I say that's the bigger issue. It's not just white women do it too and other women. That's the problem. They should come out. It's they're not going to run off and hide in a hole until they retrieve the hat to put it back on their head. That's the problem. That's where the issues lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's that's the deeper issue in it. Not just because it's a hairpiece. It's no big deal. It's a huge fucking deal because it's the mentality that's attached to the hairpiece.
yeah, and I mean, like, I understand that you could say there's been, like, trauma instilled over the centuries in regards to black people's features, whether it's their hair, their lips, their nose, their skin color, whatever. But my question is, why are some women able to overcome that and not others? Why are some people able to overcome obstacles and not others? It's just, and another thing is, like, do American black women have limited dating options? I have the same set of questions for all races of women when I meet them in terms of if I want to date them. And I have additional questions for some races of women because my experiences with different cultures, there's different things you have to, for me, watch out for. Like, I have a black friend who's a female, and her mom tells her in the summer, she is a very heavy melanated black woman, my friend. Okay, she makes Honcho look light skinned. So she makes Honcho look like he went through a year's worth of cake soap.
Oh man.
So let me tell you this story, and this is why I find certain groups of women generally less desirable, but I still will date somebody from that group because I treat everybody as an individual. They keep saying how black men are colorists and they won't date light-skinned women, this and that, blah, 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 and they bash black men. But I have heard black moms talking about dark skin. My friend's mother, the dark-skinned friend of mine, her mom says to her in the summertime, like, "Oh, have you been out in the sun lately?" And my friend will be like, "Not more than normal." Why? She goes, "Oh, because you're getting kind of dark." And she'll say it with that, like, disgusted tone of voice, as if getting dark is ugly. And she's saying this to her dark-skinned daughter. And more recently, her mom broke up with an Indian boyfriend who was no good and a fucking bum. And there was this other man, a black man, who wanted to date her mom. This man had a job. He was a mechanic. He was a gentleman. He was a scholar. He was a sweetheart, okay? He was courting the mom. He was respectful. He was like, "Oh, I could take you to your doctor's appointment. I could pick you up here. I can run some errands for you." Like, really being a nice guy. And so my friend was, because my friend and I were really trying to get the mom set up. We were trying to set up with my uncle, too. We were trying to get her set up with somebody because we really said they need a man in the house because her younger brother really doesn't have any discipline, and, we want her younger brother to really, grow up and do well. Do you know what the mom's excuse was for why she was giving the man a tough time to not date him?
What was that?
He's a little too dark-skinned for me. She said this to her dark-skinned daughter. And my friend said she felt so pissed that she literally called the guy and said, I don't really think you should be dating my mom. You know, she's just not the one for you. You know, I really want to. Like, she literally called the guy to say, don't talk to my mom anymore. She was so pissed.
Yeah. Which is good because most women probably would not step in and just let it continue to milk him.
So when I date a black woman, I know that there's a set of obstacles that I have to figure out, you know, if I want to deal with or not, which makes them as a group less desirable. But if I meet someone who doesn't fill all those negative stereotypes, I'll give them an equal opportunity. Same thing for other races, but there's usually not as many hurdles, or it's not as common, however you want to put it.
I don't think I have any further questions, Mr. John. If there's anything else that you would like to touch on, I mean, I have no further inquiry, sir.
All right. I just want to say, Honcho, you're the greatest. And I love everybody in the den, the live chat. Everybody who showed some love on my video.
Discord, John, we're going to get you in there one way or another. When you come into the Discord.
Listen, I am trying to not get murdered, okay?
John, you gotta come to the Discord. That's the only thing that's missing. You're the missing piece of den regulars that is not in the Discord.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I clicked on a link that you sent a few days ago.
Yes.
And it opened up another web page, and it said something like, you know, the den invited you to the Discord or something like that.
Yes.
So and there was a button that said, you know, I guess invite, click yes or accept or whatever it means. So what happens when I click on that? Do I have to create a username and password? Do I have to download an app?
I think that there's 3 ways you can do it. I think there's an app, you can do it like there's a PC program, and then I think you can actually do it web-based, if I'm not mistaken. I think you can do Discord web-based. But I think the app is probably
okay. So let me just stop you, because I know I'm not going to do the app. I'm definitely going to do web-based. So do you know like how that works? Like, do I have to put in like my fucking phone number and address and social security number?
No, you ain't got to do all that. Like, you're just going to get like a screen name. I don't even know if they ask you for an email. I don't think you have to confirm it or anything. I think you can just sign it. They might ask you for an email, but you probably put some bullshit in there. But I would advise to go, like I said, I would advise to go the app roll. I know you're kind of leery of it, but it's not like other social medias. It's almost like it's a self-contained thing. So you're not going to get anything from anybody who's not a part of that. If nobody's your friend or you're not in the whatchamacallit, you ain't got to worry about like just people searching and finding you and doing nothing like that. So it's kind of, that's what I'm saying. It offers a little bit more of a personal, again, like kind of enclosed community where things have gotten different over the last few days. I wouldn't even say over the last few days. It's been like that for forever. But yeah.
So when I get inside of this app or the web-based version, what I do is put a pair of headphones on my cell phone and then just listen to people talking.
Yeah, you can get in the thing. Like I say, with the web-based version, because I don't know how the settings are. Because I know on the app, you have either where you can talk freely or you can push to talk. So if you only want certain things being heard, I have to look at it on the web-based version to see what it is. But yeah, you put your headphones on, just join in the voice chat, and you can listen in on whatever it's talking about or chime in as you please.
All right, so one of these days I'll click on the web-based version and I'll give it a ride. Just want to say one last thing before I run. Men out there, women out there, everybody, protect who you love, protect what you love, do your best to do the right thing. It's unfortunate that people out there do feel unprotected. I think, we should really, like Jesus did, like help the cripples, help the less fortunate, help the needy, however you want to word it. Sometimes people don't deserve nice treatment, to put it in an unprofessional way, but maybe, sometimes just offer a little olive branch, even if they don't deserve it, just because you're a kind person. And maybe that might open up a door where that might be the epiphany for that person to realize that they need to do better too. Who knows? I mean, like, I just always felt like love trumps hate. So, you know me, I believe in MLK was the toughest guy, way tougher than Malcolm X will ever be. So, just be kind to people out there. And to black women out there that feel like you're unprotected and you're not wanted, you know, I apologize that you feel that way. You are wanted, you are protected, but at the same time, you know, a little bit's going to come. You gotta come to the middle too, you know. And I think if you take a few steps forward, you'll realize that other people are taking a few steps closer to you too. So, because it's shameful, because I do feel bad because black women have been disproportionately targeted in the media. Whether it's their fault or not is one thing, but you know, when you have the media against you, that's a pretty big bully to fend off, you know. So anyway, I'm rambling. God bless everybody. I love you. Check out all the videos on the John from New York show.
Absolutely.
And have a wonderful day, everybody.
Absolutely, man. John, as always, I appreciate you calling in, sir. You have a good afternoon.
All right, bye.
All right. Now, let me see one thing real quick. I'll take this call. We'll take it because you're just about to wrap it up. We'll take maybe one or two. We'll depend on how long they are. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we have calling into the den this afternoon?
Hey, it's Belle. Finally, after quite a long time. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Miss Bell. How are you feeling about today's topic?
Okay, first of all, how much coffee time you got for me? A few minutes?
Yeah. I got time.
Okay. Let me qualify myself. I will never speak as being a black person, woman only.
Why
I will.
not?
I will.
But this is 2020. You can
qualify,
identify as a black
No.
woman. No.
I will only qualify as being female and a woman. And I will go on to say that if this doesn't apply to you, then you need to fly. Let it fly. And sometimes constructive criticism can come across as bullying or just downright being mean. So I'm going to say things that people aren't going to like. And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So, first being said, I am super supportive of the fact that both Bad and Bougie gave her personal opinion and John gave his personal opinion. Both of them gave facts from their particular situations. I see things even different from them because of my life experience. And I'm still trying to figure out what people have called emotionally based, what's reality based, and what's experience based. And on all those notes, I do think that women in general have a difficult time. I'm not saying men don't. I'm trying to generalize this because of the fact that I'm not a black person, and culturally I will never understand that experience, as my daughter has told me. But I know what it's like to be an experienced woman and be told no because I'm not a man. Because you don't have this qualification or that qualification. I've been in very traditional marriage relationships. I've been in which I have an awesome partner. I've also been in some pretty shitty situations. Now, the one thing that I will say is that I see how the media markets, mass media, social media, all these different websites and advertising basically makes the top 1% on all ethnicities the quote-unquote attractive quotient. Individually, what we like and what we need is probably far from what we're being catered to or advertised with. And that part is completely individual. Now, I have always been in a 1% group for the fact that I love educated men. I like men who know who they are. I cannot deal with a weak-willed man. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't mind that. I just have had enough experience to go, I'm not going there. Do I write them off as being bad people? Absolutely not. I'm just not attracted to them. Do they have to be black or white? Not necessarily. There are some other cultures that I, from experience in the dating pool, have said, that's not for me, and I'm okay with that. Now, the difference is when society comes back and says, well, you're only a 5, you need to be dating into this pool, that's society judging what I need versus what I know what I want for myself. And it's both self-acceptance and social acceptance. And what I heard, too, is the fact that and please, you can tell me if I'm wrong, is that among the black community, they really want the slim thick, and they have a very negative approach to the, what's the word, something obese, morbidly obese or the obese when it's round rather than hourglass figured.
I'm going to say most people probably don't want morbidly obese.
No. And I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm looking at it is a physical attribute. And what people aren't seeing is that it's a physical description that can be manipulated for advertisement because people need to look better than they are because they don't always feel as good as they need to be. Why do you think that people sometimes don't even show their real profile on a dating site? Because they don't feel like they are who they are. Some people have no intention with following through. Why do you think we have catfishing? Why do you think there's so much shit? And you're right, I've gone back off board, so I need to come back. What I see, and I had an experience not too long ago, is that I had a really tough time with a man, and there were men acquaintances in the group. And my situation was personally if I went to them and said, listen, I need your help with it, I didn't want to be weak because of the fact that I've had to be strong through so many personal tragedies that I've gone through. But yet, if I said something negative to this person, I come off as a ratchet Karen. And how do I go to these men and say, I need your help without feeling weak and not feeling as though I had the strength and did it on my own? And I'm not saying that we're all alone. But after I went to these particular men and said, hey, can you help me? They were like, well, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're here for. That's our tradition.
Was it a physical act?
No, it was a matter of putting that particular person on point about his behavior towards me because it was toxic.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but that kind of goes to the thing that we've been saying around here, that men are going to hold other men accountable for those actions.
Okay. And not long ago, I had a recent experience of listening into a conversation of a person that I really care about who's been through some shit and may not have it all together be stripped down from a man who does have it together. And on the surface, I understood where he was coming from because of her lack of tools, coping skills, tools, or whatever you want to have it in order to cope with it. But instead of explaining to her and teaching her, I felt like it was shaming her for what she didn't have. And she was a black female, and so was he, male. And I see this culturally across white boards, black boards, all cultural races. I've seen it among the Latinos or Hispanic. I'm not sure culturally it's appropriate.
I did not do that. The line fucking cut out by itself. I had a question that I definitely wanted to ask in that situation. And I was trying to let her finish her point. Here's the deal. This is what we're gonna do, Miss Bell. I don't know what happened. It cut out. Let's all slide to the Discord. Y'all saw I didn't click that. I ain't pushing that because I really did have a question I wanted to add to that. Let's slide to the Discord. Continue this conversation. It's a perfect like cliffhanger, right? Now that's what I'm gonna start doing in the middle of call, like real good call at the end of the fucking show. I'm just gonna hang it up. Nah, go to the Discord. You want to hear the rest of what they gotta say? Get in the fucking Discord, goddammit. Nah, but definitely. Let me put the link up because that way, like I said, we can just continue the conversation. I don't know why it cut out. If Miss Bell does want to call back in time, I mean, she can feel free. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the Discord up link. I'll link up. I'll wait a moment or two if she wants to, be able to finish that point. Because why not here? But I gotta bring some facts to the Discord, so make sure y'all are there. All right. What's the motherfucking deal? Sorry about that, Miss Bell. I'm not sure what happened.
I think it may have been my end, actually. I'm not really exactly sure, but what was your question, Honcho?
So in the situation you said you saw, someone attacking something for having a lack thereof. So, like, what was the context of the situation? Because I don't think normally just somebody attacking somebody, again, unless there's like a personal,
I didn't hear all of it. I came into it towards 3/4 to the end of the conversation. And how it was explained to me in the first part of it is that the female had made it personal about attacking the male's family rather than keeping it on a one-on-one basis, which is dirty pool. And I don't agree with that. But yet, instead of, I don't know what could have been done different, and I can't give an answer to that because I wasn't there. But after she either left the line or went quiet or whatever it was, he just let loose of his anger and his lack of tolerance for her not having skills. But yet, there's, to me, in my experience, there's this unhidden expectation that men want us to have it, but don't always have that either. And it may have happened more than once. I don't know all the circumstances behind it, so I'm trying super hard not to judge it, but just trying to leave it at the experience as it was. And things that I've seen is that a dating quota or quotient or what men and women want in the dating world and what we want as partners and what we're willing to tolerate in society are 3 different levels. Somebody that we care about and want to be our life partner, we will lower the levels because that's who we're attracted to and they hit all the spots that we want. Someone that we don't have to respect, don't want to respect, as they say, is I don't need any more friends. They up the level of what they want to tolerate or don't tolerate and just be dismissive. And that happens on both sides of the fence.
But, I mean, I don't think there's necessarily...
One second. Let me finish the last point. And the people who are broken, male and female, who don't have coping skills or were never taught coping skills, it's not that they're not victimized. It's just that they don't quite know how to become survivors without becoming aggressive. Because they need to reach out to say, listen, I'm going to get through this. And sometimes passive-aggressive can be even worse and more discrediting and condescending than helpful. And I don't mean to just run it like that, but I don't have another way of explaining it. I'm not trying to female explain. I'm just trying to explain from my personal experiences.
So I'm going to point something out kind of here and explain some things. So, like, the way I look at the situation in context, I think, and I know what you're talking about, which conversation you're speaking on, that took place, and there were some things that were said that ignited certain things. You mentioned the familial thing. Well, a man's instinct is to protect his family, whether you are, physically threatening or if you feel like it's a verbal, whatever, like, that's going to be the defense.
I agree.
And
wait a minute, I need to say that I need to tell you that I agree with you with that. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted you to know that I don't think that the behavior was right for her to do that. And that doesn't always happen either from female side agreeing with the men, but I did need to say that I thought that was wrong of her to do.
And here's the thing. And so all it is in like any other situation, it's you're going to protect what's yours. I would think that you, in the same manner, somebody got to saying something about your children or whatever, even if it started off a certain way, even if some things were nerves were hit or whatever you want to call it, you're going to respond the same way. Like I say, if it's me and I'm chopping up with somebody, we talking shit about each other, okay, whatever, I'm not really tripping. But when you start, you start spreading it out, you start talking about, family or my immediate or, things that I put my life on the line for, well, you're going to see me have a very different conversation with you. You know what I mean? But what I think happened is, was shown yesterday as kind of an example more of the way that men handle each other. And and so when women see that, when women see another women kind of get in that arena and kind of receive that same kind of treatment, y'all tend to think, or feel sorry more so for the female in the situation, whether right or wrong, and because it looks really aggressive, because it looks really, again, that's to men, it's not like a big deal, like, because that's how we handle one another. So if I was to cross that line with that gentleman or anybody else or whoever else, man, there's been times that there have been people who had normally have amicable conversations. You say a little something that pushed a little button, and the other person might not have thought that it was going to get that serious. There's been some very intriguing conversations, some that have gotten to threats and all other kind of stuff. So all
Absolutely.
I'm saying is that was a situation where there was a moment that was heated, some things were said, and someone felt vehemently about those things, and they felt like there's certain things when you go there, you're going to go all out. So like I say, for those people involved, however that situation, ends, it ends or whatever. But I don't think that's a similar, situation to this. I think
Okay,
that.
no. And you're right, it's not. But how I was relating it is the fact that I think sometimes I have to make this general because I don't have any other way to put it from my personal experience. I think individually we like and respect who we want to, but society tends to pander to the top 1%, and it makes it very unrealistic for the rest of us who may only be 5s or 6s.
But do you think they necessarily pander to the top 1%, or are they really pandering to us and selling us dreams of being that top 1% or that top 0.5%? Well, if you use this or you do this or you live like this, well, then you can be this. When in reality, a lot of that is not true, or you could still live that way if you just chose to. That's why they.
I'm not sure.
That's why they put the products. They always put the beautiful people. You look like this. Or you drink this beer. You'll have all kind of hot chicks. In reality, you're gonna have a beer gut. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be partying. You're gonna be
Yeah.
a fucking DUI and a fucking beer belly. You know what I mean? But that's why they sell us all like we are all the normal people, the average everyday people. Some of us do a little more, some of us do a little less. So I think they pander to us to sell
On
us
that
those
note,
things.
let me ask you a question. When you see an extremely obese black woman, and she's single, and she's got 3 or 4 kids, maybe even 5 kids, what is your immediate physical connection?
There's no connection. I look at that and say it's a tough sight. I hope those kids, end up well off, and hope she makes the best out of her situation. There's no connection there. Like I say, if you single again, if you see a woman in public, you don't know if she's single or married. Behavior can tell some things, but
Right.
But I'm not gonna look
Even
at
a ring, but yeah.
I'm not gonna look at a woman, and let's just be frank about it. So I like thick chicks. I like thick women. I don't mind you being a little bit plus size as long as you're proportionate. Like I said that on AB's podcast. Like I have no issue with that. I'm a sizable gentleman. I can handle these things. So my deal is like, so that's not going to be a number one term, but now there's a limit though. There's a limit. Like John mentioned, there's thick, you got BBW, you got voluptuous, whatever portion. Then you got some sloppy stuff going on out there. And you got a lot of the worst end of the spectrum trying to attach himself to some of the more cute terms, thick, this, no, this is unhealthy. This is, whatever. Like when it gets to a point where the first thing you think of is, that's unhealthy. That's automatically a no-go. But if you see certain features and that are more physically pronounced than others, you can say, okay, those things may entice you a little bit more. You got a little belly, I can deal with it. Like, you're going to look at it a little bit differently. But then when you have the attachment of a bunch of little toadstools with you, that decreases a point per child. Like, so where she may have started off as 8, she got 4 kids. She then became a 4 in my book. I can't deal with all that. Like, I got nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's not even knowing what the personality is, you know what I mean? So,
all right, let's back this up. Say they were all by the same man, and she happened to be a widow.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change your dating IQ of her?
No, it's still 4 kids, and I'm just saying, like, it's the amount of kids to deal with. Because then to date her, you're dating 5 motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
I agree.
Yeah, so that's just something I'm not gonna deal with. Like, I'm not gonna engage with 5 different fucking personalities just to try to get a little piece of snatch. It's not worth it. When there's other opportunities that will be less drama, and I'd actually be able to spend time with the woman I'm trying to be with, or whatever you want to call it, whatever the situation may be. So like I said, it's a case by case basis, but there are features that transfer that tell you certain things when you see it. So it's going to tell you a lot about her character and her behavior from first glance. So that's just kind of what it is. But like I said, it just different strokes for different folks, depending on her size, depending on what she's wearing, depending on how she's carrying herself. She could be slim and sloppy looking. You know what I'm saying? If she's coming out in a fucking bonnet and looking crazy, and some dirty ass house shoes and other shit, she may look less attractive than the chick may be a little bit bigger, but she's dressed maybe a little bit more nicely and maybe slightly conservative or something like that. So I think there's so many different options in that arena. Like, I don't think you can really specify, how you would handle it.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you think that the media has a very negative projection of today's black women socially?
I think a lot of black women support the negative stereotypes that are being pushed out there. I don't think if those things were supported that they would get pushed. That's kind of how I look at it. Does the media paint them poorly? Yeah, but all the shit that that paints them in a poor light, like I say, they support. So it's almost like, is it painting them poorly, or is this who they are? Like I said, we're talking about some of these reality shows and some of these things where these people behave like trash, and again, that look and represent, certain cultures. Those people of those cultures support that. So people will assume that, well, maybe that's how they really are. They're not, distancing themselves from it. They're not saying, hey, I don't want to see this shit. This is a bad image. Like, no, they're looking, oh, look at that bitch. She's crazy. Look at that. She's wild. Not realizing that, when you in the store, somebody watching the same thing, you look like what they think that same shit about you, so.
Mm-hmm. That goes on with, I think, all ethnicities, to be perfectly honest. Do you think that they, in general, across the board, do you think that the media paints women as victims or as being Karen types or being aggressive rather than assertive in the media?
Like I said, I think that there's all variations, and I think it just, again, like I said, comes down to a case by case basis. I don't think it's saying that there are certain, when you see the Karen types, it's usually over the top and unnecessary. When you see a lot of the ones that get put out there, it's usually a lot of over the top, unnecessary stuff. The things that are coming every day, I don't think they even make a big deal about it. If it's a little situation and a woman asserts herself, I don't think anybody cares. But sometimes women go about things like in weird ways. Like, I think not too long ago, there's a chick on one of the sports shows. She was basically getting ignored, and she just gets up and walks off in the middle of the segment. But the segment's not about you. This is about the sports conversation that's going on. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that women do that's really goofy, I guess, and they think that they're asserting themselves or ways of getting attention. And so that gets looked upon foolishly. But I think anything that's done in a normal fashion, just as anybody else would, it's not a big deal. I don't think it gets misconstrued at all.
Okay, then can you answer me another question? What's the difference between a woman feeling ignored and a woman feeling dismissed? Wait a minute, let me rephrase that. Can we acknowledge that women get dismissed, and what are we supposed to do if we're feeling either condescended to or dismissed?
I say enjoy the feeling of being a man for a few minutes, and then everything will be okay. Because what happens is, I don't think women get dismissed.
Okay.
I think they just don't like maybe the order of things sometimes, or that, you know, they expect men, when they say something, that men are going to automatically see it that way, but we'll never see it that way. So it's not dismissing you, but like I think was mentioned yesterday, it's like, hey, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I present a different perspective, and this is what I see. What happens a lot with women is, if you are not in agreement with it, now you're insulting me, or now you are, you know, you're dismissing, like you said, dismissing what I believe or my feeling, and that's never the case. It's just like, I can't see it that way because I'm not thinking in that manner. This is what I'm thinking, and this is how I'm seeing it. And so then it becomes, oh, you know, you're ignoring my feelings or whatever it may be. But I don't necessarily think it's always that. Like,
Interesting. Interesting. I think it's a lot more complex than we'd like to give it surface conversation to. But the fact is how many people actually want to dig deep enough in order to get to that point?
well,
That's
like,
another question.
you know, how many people are worth digging that deep into? You know, so I think that like I said, I think it could be flipped a multitude of ways. You know, you can invest a lot of time in research into somebody and find out, hey, you know what? Ultimately, that was a waste of time. Everything that they were was on the surface.
That leads me to the question then, why is the list for whoever is going to be the ride or die chick versus the this is who I'm going to date for a while chick?
Like I say, it's behavior, appearance, how you carry yourself, depending on the mood that the man is in. If he's in a, you know, hey, I'm looking for someone serious, then it's going to be a different type of chick that he's going to affiliate with. If I'm just having some fun for a while, there's going to be a different type of chick he's going to look to. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I think. It just depends on the man and, you know, what phase of life that he's in.
I kind of want to touch upon something that both John and Bad and Bougie were talking about with dating and makeup and what I call the aesthetics, which is just the outside shit. All of that paint and smoke and mirrors is to attract a person for a partner. How well we use it, or how well we use it, or how much we don't give a shit and just allow ourselves to be raw is going to be what the other person sees. Now, I've heard people say that if you don't shave your legs and you forget to tweak your, eyebrows or whatever, people don't want to see that. They want you to be as attractive as possible. But yet, if you're attractive as possible, and all of a suddenly, the waxing goes away, and and then I'll get to the hairdresser once a week or whatever, and the partner says, well, you're not who I expected you to be, but they only did that to get you. And then, but we asked them to be as natural as possible, but we really like the person we were attracted to. How much of that is showing the truth? Or if you have a man that you've been with for a long time, and all of a sudden he was this outgoing guy playing sports, and now he's only the weekend football on the couch kind of guy.
Well, like I think
expectations and conversations is something that seems to be lacking as well.
Like I said, I think that it's a real broad question, because I think you got to look at circumstances. Well, why did that person? Was there an event that made this person change or something like that? Now, if this person was solely doing it to get you, then that's deception. Then they're fraudulent and they're a liar, because they use deceptive motives to try to get you. And then once they got their hooks in you, whatever way, they reveal them true selves. That's foul. That's a no-go.
And
you know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad that you said that, because I've actually heard a man say to his wife, you're not allowed to wear that dress, when in fact 3 months before, when they were engaged, she wore it out with him. Now all of a sudden, because he's got a ring on her finger, he says, no, you can't.
Well, he owns her now. He didn't own her then. He owns her now.
Okay, women aren't chattel. And that's part of a problem that I have a hard time with. I absolutely have no problem being, what's the word? Submissive. As a matter of fact, while I was waiting for the hour, I did 2 loads of laundry and set supper and to be ready because I am domestic. But does that mean that I want to be treated like property because you're married to me? Now I can't wear a dress that you were attracted to? That comes off on the man's insecurity. That has nothing to do with her.
No, there's certain things like when it comes to dressing, and I get it, because women in clothing is a thing. Like if a chick was dressed in a certain way and it was appealing and it may have been a little revealing, and then somehow we decided to get serious, and she said, "No, you can't wear that shit no more. Fuck no. Like, you secure. When you single, yeah, you can wear that type of shit. When you're not officially into something, you can wear that type of shit. You do what you do. And you're an individual, awesome. Now that we are in a partnership, the rules have changed. The standards have changed. Some shit is no longer acceptable.
Okay, my question is do you think that kind of conversation goes on?
It should. I mean, it's not a difficult conversation to have. I think it should.
Realistically, does it?
I don't know. I mean, it would be a conversation that I would have. If I had displeasure in something, it's going to be addressed. Like, I should think it should. Like, yeah, I mean, a man should, if your chick is out there wearing some shit that you don't like, especially, even if it's just to and fro and you're not around, like, fuck no. If you don't like it, you better address that shit. Nah, you better go change that shit. That's, you better tuck that shit away, throw that shit, burn that shit, whatever, you fucking do that. No, it's unacceptable. Now, if it's something special for me on a certain evening or something, then, cool. But it's just, you have to set your standards and you have to dictate what's acceptable for you, and, you lay it down, you can explain it to her and give her an understanding as to why this is, and, that's that.
Exactly. But I think that the standard should be equal both ways. I mean, there are things that I might not do outside the house, but between my partner and I'm okay with that. But that doesn't mean that I want to be relegated to what I can do and not do outside the home by my partner because we're cooperatives. We offset each other. If he's strong in one area and I'm weak in another, we work together, and vice versa. But it's all depending on what you're looking for, to be honest with you.
All right. I'm asking this one last thing, then we're going to get ready. We're going to slide to Discord
Sure.
and chop it up in there. So as a partnership, as a cooperative, say you guys have come from a date, movie, whatever, keeping the relationship spicy. As you're walking to your car, somebody jumps out with a gun. Who's in front of who?
I would hope to think that he would be, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't do it if I didn't have to. Because I don't know whether or not that person's... Nope, seriously, he may have a broken leg. It's circumstance individual, but I would love to think that he could protect me. But I will tell you this. I don't always look for physical protection, even though that's great. That's not all of what women seek. Our sense of security is being able to trust our partner unconditionally, and that's something that, or even to a condition. And once that trust is broken, that is a core element in any relationship that can fuck it for the rest of the time that it's together. Even if it's been put back together and stronger, when it rains or times get hard, people remember that they were broken. And some people can live with it and keep moving on and stay together for the rest of the time. And other people, that's why there's divorce. But this is a part of security in the relationship with men and women that we don't talk about. It's the emotional part where women feel safe enough to be able to be vulnerable with that man and not have shit come back on them. And being able to be vulnerable with them and not end up being victim to them because of the fact that they needed to share. And it goes both ways because I can't say that women haven't done that to men either, and it sucks. But this is the emotional shit that we don't talk about, but it's actually an important part of all relationships. And I don't know what the percentages is on it, but I can honestly say it really sucks when you have to walk away from a partner because you can't emotionally trust them not to use you because you're not strong enough.
I would think that would be a tough deal, especially if you formed a bond with somebody. To let something like that separated, it could definitely
Absolutely.
be tough. But Ms. Bell, like I said, we're going to get ready to wrap it up. Hopefully, you will
Sure.
join us in the Discord. We can kind of maybe dive deeper into this conversation, keep it going. But I thank you for calling.
I thank you, and I am so blessed by my den people. You guys are awesome.
Well, they all right. They all right. Don't give them too much praise. They'll start going crazy.
You always do that. Doesn't matter. It's all good.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Bell. I can't say that class is in session. The class is out now. But
Class is dismissed.
thank you, ma'am.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. All right. So we're ready to wind it down. We're going to slide into Discord here after this. I appreciate y'all. I fucks with y'all. Bamboos, get your ass in there. I got facts for you. And cause what is he said, Kamala, and then I never identified as Indian. All right, got that. And then what's the other? You said something else. I wrote it down, so I'll make sure. Oh, we were talking about the one drop rule, and I'll have something for you for that too. So, with that being said, hey, I fucks with y'all. Discord, right? Y'all know how I go down to Discord. Like, I shouldn't even have to tell y'all to get in the Discord. Let me drop the link in here for you real quick. If you're not in that thing, you're bullshitting yourself. I'll drop the voice chat invite. With that being said, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming through. Be sure to follow on all the proper social medias. What is that? Ed Honcho HTX on Instagram and Twitter. Den Show Live on Facebook. All the links that you need are in the description below. If you want to support the channel, all the links are in the description below. Streamlabs, fucking super chats, all the things are in the fucking description below. Become a member of the channel so you can get the fancy emojis. I'm gonna come up with some more emojis. If y'all have emoji suggestions, let me know, and I'll definitely come up with some. But with that being said, I'm Chuck Deuce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Thank you, Den folk. I gotta put the little outro thing on here. I keep forgetting to do it, so I'm just gonna end it. It's just over with. Like we done. It's done. Why y'all silly? Why y'all not in the Discord already? Like, I'm already in it. I've been in that thing for like 30 minutes waiting on y'all. So I'm just gonna cook the button while I'm in the middle of talking. So y'all ain't gonna know what I may be saying because it's just gonna end like at any random time. Just so, yeah.